Hey, greetings
Hey,
and
hey,
welcome.
hey, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Goodness.
Welcome to the show. You may be wondering why I'm wearing these shades.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
You want to know why?
Definitely, desperately.
My Rays made the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We clinched them. The future's so bright.
Oh,
I gotta wear them.
There you
You
go.
know what I'm
Makes,
saying?
makes
Plus,
perfect sense.
those rays. You know what I'm saying?
From the
Got sun rays in
sun.
my eyes.
From
You know what I'm saying? It's just.
goodness.
All right, there we go. Just had to shout that out. Very
Okay,
excited.
no, I get it. Well, welcome to Turtle Soup. This is what you're watching and or listening to.
This is what you're watching.
The
Come on,
Internet
boys.
Made the world's only community-supported podcast YouTube channel dedicated to the ongoing journey of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all the way from the beginning until your boys get their own little golden book, which, like the Rays, shines on its spine because it's got a little golden foil thing. And yeah,
Oh,
once
you brought that right back in. You know
I bring it right back in, that's why you pay me. That's what
I'm
you
a
pay
big
me
fan
for.
of that.
Yeah.
That's why you get the big bucks, boss.
It
Oh,
is. So, because my
Ooh.
mom collects them, and so anytime my
Mm-hmm.
wife and I are out, like at thrift stores or wherever we're at, we try to keep an eye for that spine, that golden spine in the children's books, and you find one, you're like, no, I don't need this one. Don't. She's got like a ungodly amount of them, and I love them because of the size and how they're hardcovers too. But the thing I hate though is that there's no real spine art. Like that's the only thing. Like the spine art is the golden thing, but there's nothing that really differentiates them. Sometimes they're different colors,
Yeah, you're right.
but sometimes there's some designs,
Good
but
point.
not enough to see. And your boy, like I'm all about like how does it look on the shelf? You know what I'm saying? On the what did they call it? The dork shelf in the chat, in the pregame chat.
The dork shelf.
Yeah. I'm all about how it looks on the shelf, and so she kind of loses me there. But once Turtle Soup gets one, like that's when we know we've made it, and we might have to quit the
Yeah,
show.
like I mean, that would basically be like us, like if we were a band, like releasing a greatest hits. That's basically the end of it.
Oh, yeah,
We're like,
it
all right,
is.
we're good. We've done it.
I saw
what I'm saying?
one though that could be a pseudo Turtle Soup one, and that might be a Patreon shirt coming up that just says "Daddies" on it. So. Just daddies.
It does just say daddies.
It does say daddy. So for
Okay.
those that are new, we did a thing where we would call each other daddy because like other ladies call each other mama all the time. So let's bring that back. And every once in a while, some of y'all will write us and hit us up in like other areas of the internet and just, hey daddy, what's up? And that gets me every time. So thank you
I'm
guys
looking
for
at
that.
it now. That is amazing.
Oh, the golden book.
We need to make a version of that.
Yeah.
Because the cover has like a dad like sitting on the thing, like reading basically a golden book
Right.
in a chair, and his son's kind of leaning over.
Yeah.
We need to have one of us as the dad, like old dad in the chair, and one
Oh,
of us
that'd be
like,
amazing.
leaning over.
Yeah.
And there's a second kid in his lap. So like I don't know, Lex or somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll figure
figure it out.
it out.
But
But
you know
speaking
what
of
I mean?
figuring things.
Maybe it would be like Carter listening to a story about how he
No.
used to not be so selfish.
No, this is not a book from the future.
No?
That is we are not. He's
Yeah, we're not so future internet files are off then.
right. Exactly.
Not
yeah.
doing future internet. Okay.
No,
All right,
we
sounds
can't.
good. I just need to know the
Whew.
ground rules.
We can't be doing that. But what we can be doing is being live on YouTube. So that's what we're doing right now. So if
Yeah,
you're
That is what we can be doing.
if you're here, thank you so much for being here, and please like and subscribe. We sincerely appreciate it. Helps us out a ton. And if you're on the podcast side, just come on over and do it. Even if you don't watch or listen, if you just subscribe, that helps us out tremendously still. So we appreciate that, and letting people know about the show. If you have any other Turtle fans in your life that think that they could benefit from watching us yammer on about all this stuff, let them know about the show. And then I want to take a second real quick though to talk about people who know about the show, people who have been known about the show and known that we have a Patreon, and they've gone over there, found we've been making a podcast, we've been making a YouTube channel.
They found it.
We haven't sent anyone into the space to die yet, like Donatello has.
No.
But
Nope. No
we
one's
might
gone
be on
off
our
into
way.
space yet.
We don't know that things
Maybe.
might get
Who
dark
knows?
in the future. But
They could.
however, we're not going to make it to the future without our wonderful patrons. They are the ones that keep us from saying clang. They keep us from being transported to Dimension X, where there's no real good signal. You got to do some shady stuff to get some signal. You got to do some stuff for the what was it? The Blobfather.
The glob.
Is it Glob or Blob? I always get mixed up. I could never remember, even as I was writing it.
It's Globfather because it's supposed to be like Godfather, so that's to start with.
That makes way more sense. So yeah, you don't want to know the stuff you have to do in Dimension X to get internet connection.
You could be covered in protoplasm.
You could be it turned into an
That
amoeba.
could happen to you.
That could happen,
Yep.
but thankfully our patrons are keeping us away from the ectoplasm or protoplasm, and away from the becoming an amoeba and all that fun stuff. And we couldn't do it without you guys. So I just want to shout out Duncan Gale and Jonathan O'Donnell. You guys, seriously, thank you so much for your support. And if you'd like to join the few, the proud, the many, the brave, all these wonderful things, you can do that at patreon.com and look for Turtle Soup. So anyway, talking about journeys, talking about the future, talking about steps. Ryan, where are we at
Talking about
in the
it. We're
journey?
talking about it tonight. It's a step in the journey time. It's an important step.
It is.
It is a step taken in 1996. You know what I'm saying? It is the 6th episode of the 10th and final season of the 1987 animated series. It is entitled Mobster from Dimension X.
Yeah.
It features the Globfather.
It does.
It
I'm so
features
excited.
covering people in the goop. It features a doctor and a son who is not cared about, not one bit by anybody.
By anybody. Not even
It has a
Splitter.
lot of stuff. Not even Splitter. No one cares. So there's a lot of stuff like that. So if you can identify with any of those things, are you a Globfather? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I might be.
You might be.
You know what I'm saying? It all depends. You know what I'm saying? Like, did no one ever care about you? Well, we care about you. And we're going to talk to you tonight about this 6th episode. We're getting close to the end. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of this animated series, everybody, there is going to be a spectacular event, and that will be the unveiling of the winner of the newly minted and entitled Ryan's Radically Rewatchable Rerun Raffle. You know what I'm saying? We got to shout out M. Wilson. He dropped that name in the chat. He was like, that's what you should call it. It has alliteration. It has all the R's. We're there. Ryan, that starts with an R. You know what I'm saying? My whole name only has 7 letters in it. And I still get by. You know what I'm saying? This is it.
Oh,
this is
snap.
that boy. Okay?
Look at that boy.
This is that boy right here. Okay.
Goodness.
This is mine. I
And the
reviewed
bots.
every episode of the animated series on this bots. You know what I'm saying? All the discs are in it. It's all there. You can win it. Okay. But there's 4 ways to get raffle tickets. You get 4 tickets if you do these 4 things. You ready?
Only
Number
4.
1. First thing you got to do, even to get in the contest, you got to be a subscriber on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You got to do that. So go to YouTube, Turtle Soup Podcast, subscribe to that bad boy. Comment on a video. Not live chat. We love live chat. But you got to drop a comment because that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? So comment on a video that's been published. Boom. That's another ticket. You know what I'm saying? Boom. There you go.
Yep.
Number 3, you can be a patron. You know what I'm saying? If you're a patron, that gets you that ticket. That's another ticket. That's 3 tickets now. If you did all those things, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then number 4 is entering our Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest. Details of which are going to premiere tonight. You know what I'm saying? We've got it figured out. We're going to drop the rules on that bad boy.
We are.
So those are the 4 things you can do. If you have all 4 of those things in the bucket, you got 4 tickets, and you got 4 times the chance of winning. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We're going to be drawing this after we finish the animated series, and probably the next episode after we finish episode 8. So once the season's done, opening up that next episode, we will reveal the winner. And we're willing to obviously ship it to you for your charge. We're definitely willing to sign it if you want it autographed or do anything like that. It's everyone's individual preference. We'll get with you if you win, and we'll figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
And speaking of this,
Go. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's already entered and and commented. Some of y'all have wrote some stuff about like the questions that we have in the ticker down below. That had me thinking like I don't know. It's stuff that like when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Why didn't I think of that? And that's what I love. I love that stuff. And so you guys are bringing it, and we really appreciate it. And keep it coming. We sincerely love this stuff. So thank you for already submitting entries and whatnot, and just keep it coming. So yeah.
Now this 4th method, this mythical 4th ticket, you know what I'm saying, to the Ryan's Radically Rewatchable Rerun Raffle. It is our inaugural Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest. So here's how it's going to work. Normally, if some people are new, Turtles Come Out and Fight That is effectively a segment we did a lot a while ago, and we've been kind of holding back in the spank bank a tad since we've been on YouTube, because typically what it is it comes from an old joke, but effectively people would ask us all right, I have a problem with my neighbor. He's super noisy. How would the Turtles come out and fight that? And Eric and I would basically, usually set in the animated series universe, because things are kind of silly there. We would kind of both of us freestyle a story about how the Turtles went out and fought that, going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? We basically come out with it. That's how it normally goes. And we want to expand that out to YouTube and actually start making like videos that are just us answering those, where we don't like maybe make the live show too long, but we actually get a chance to dig in deep on those turtles coming up fight that, because those are some of the best segments we've ever done.
Oh, absolutely.
For this email contest, though, we're flipping the script on you guys. Okay. We are going to ask you and give you a scenario where the turtles come out and fight that, and you are going to email us and tell us how you think the turtles come out and fight that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what we're going to do with that is all the entries we get, number one, if you email us about and you give an answer to the question, you get an extra ticket in that raffle. Secondly, we're going to read them on a video where we're going to read them all out and talk about them. And if you win, we'll obviously read yours last in first place and be like, this is the number one, one that we rate.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of get with you right now. The prizes, we have a bunch of Turtle Soup swag kind of lying around. And so whoever wins the Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest will email you and kind of chat back and forth. If you're a patron and you already have like a bunch of the different stuff we have, then we'll figure out something you probably don't have and send it on your way. Or if you're somebody who, just doesn't really have any Turtle Soup merch, we'll hook you up. You know what I'm saying? So, so the question is this, all right? The question is, the Turtles Come Out and Fight That is, how would the Turtles come out and fight the end of not only their animated series, but their declining popularity in the 90s in general?
Right.
Okay. So this is a question. The question is basically, to paraphrase it, how would the Turtles come out and fight the end of the line here in the 90s? We know that this animated series is over, basically, after season 10. They don't get another series until 2003, right? And all this stuff had to change hands. They had to redo their image.
Yeah.
They had to, and in the 90s, like, I'll be honest, like, they were selling a lot less turtle skateboards. You know what I'm saying? A lot less turtle pepperoni sticks. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing was going down because honestly, the Turtles have been around a really long time, and other properties like Batman, the animated series, X-Men, stuff like that were really taking a huge like market share away from the Turtles.
Yeah.
So the question is, how would the Turtles come out and fight that in an alternate universe?
Yeah.
How would they flip the script and keep this party going and not have to like wait till 2003? How could they keep this party going all through the night?
Right. So, and just I don't know, like my thought process in this is if like it's in that animated universe where, how we've joked about how we think that the Turtles know that they're on a TV show.
Yeah, it's like and super meta where like they're filming it somehow, like
right.
in that world. Like,
that's why they can break the fourth wall, and they talk about like, well, the time's running pretty, stuff like that. So if you think about it in those aspects, it's like they just got the letter saying they're not going to be making a season 11.
Yeah.
What are
we're done.
Yeah, but the Turtles, what are they going to do to ensure that season 11? What steps do they take? And we really want to see what y'all have in mind for that, because that seems like a lot of fun.
So kind of just we talked about it last night and kind of formed this up. So what we're going to kind of be grading on as far as like quality and placing of the responses, we're obviously grading on like humor's funny, like obviously like the funnier the better. Definitely like creativity. Right? Like kind of like how creative do you get with like how they actually figure this out and like how they make it done.
Right.
And also kind of grading a bit on brevity. And what I mean by that is like short and sweet, right? Because like the kind of the longer you go, if you kind of want to writing kind of like a short story about it, like it starts to get like almost so long that we can't effectively read the whole thing like on the video. Also, it becomes a little. What we're looking for is like trying to keep it concise. That's what we always try to do on the show. So we're putting you in the kind of the host seat a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we know we can give a Turtles Come Out and Fight That about like 5 minutes of talking time. Then we kind of got to move on, right? And we've always given ourselves that guiding light. Sometimes it goes a little longer, but we try to keep it like, because we got stuff to do. Yeah. And that's kind of the voice that we want out of you guys, right? So we're definitely grading on like get to the point, punchy, funny, creative, like like interesting, like like make us think about something that we wouldn't have thought to say about that.
Yeah,
for like sure. So brevity is the soul of wit.
It is. What was that joke? Brevity is wit. Like the meta joke about that, where it's like you shorten the whole phrase about it.
Oh yes, yeah. Brevity is wit.
So, if you find yourself with like 15 paragraphs, that's way too long. If you find 5 paragraphs might even be too long, but you just keep it kind of tight, and we're gonna try to run this thing and see what happens. So definitely, I like what you said. Like, let us think of something we won't think of, and get us there. Also, as you well know, a longtime Turtletarians will know, alliteration goes a long way. And so
alliteration could go a long way. It's not required.
Not required by any means.
But it could be there. It could be there.
So
looking forward to seeing what you guys turn in. Like I said, like we're gonna read all those on the show. That like kind of separate video we do on it, which should be really fun. And then we will declare a winner on that, and then there will be some Turtle Soup swag in it for you. You know what I'm saying? So hook that up. Also, if you have any questions, email us at turtlesoupshow.com as well. Sorry, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, you did it.
At least I didn't say at email.com. I mean, like turtlesoup.com. Like you could actually like turtlesoupshow.com. You could actually message us there.
You could.
It is a website where you can contact us, but we prefer it at the Gmail. So turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. That's how you enter the contest. Not only to win the contest and be mega creative, but also how you get that legit raffle ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You get that extra ticket. True. And I'm terrible at raffles, and I understand that the only raffle I ever won was at a
Beef O'Brady's, wasn't it?
At a Moe's.
Oh, a Moe's.
No, it was Moe's, and it was because I literally we bought so much stuff, we basically stuffed the box, and I sat there, and it was like 3 other people got picked, and then we got picked. So so I have never won a raffle in my entire life.
Yeah.
So do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like show me how to win a raffle. You know what I'm saying? Show me how you get all those tickets.
Goodness.
Show me how you get those tickets. The ones.
That's what that song was actually about. Like that's what Morrissey.
That is what the Cure song was about. Yeah.
Oh, the Cure. I said Morrissey. I'm sorry. I meant the Cure. My wife hates me right now.
Wash
She's probably.
I know. Damn mouth.
I know.
All right. So the Cure is better than the Smiths. But we have emails.
We do.
Are you ready to hear some emails? They're pretty good emails. They're pretty good. I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? So the first one is from Abigail from Tennessee. She says, "Hi, it's Abigail from Tennessee." That's how you know that's Abigail from Tennessee. And she says, "I may possibly be your biggest fan. I love listening to your guys' podcast and your YouTube channel. I learned things about the turtles I never knew." See, that's the whole point. You know, so that's probably the premise. Also, just love listening to the conversations. They tend to always be entertaining. This is funny. She breaks this down. It seems like Eric is the more focused one, but having Ryan makes the show 10 times better. And I actually, I read this one because I screen these because now we're a responsible YouTube show where I have to actually screen the emails.
Right.
And just try to make a segment out of it instead of just being like, well, I have a list of things to read. I don't know how this is going to go.
Right.
So I read this one beforehand, and it was actually really funny because when I read it, I was like, that is actually one of the most well-balanced things to say because you keep going. It's kind of like a pack of nerds. You know what I'm saying? As far as the analysis. And once again, it's an example of brevity being the soul of wit. Right. Because Eric's the more focused one. You're like, oh damn. And as me, I'm kind of like, I can be focused sometimes. Damn, Eric's the most focused one. But then it says but having Ryan makes the show 10 times better. And then I'm sure Eric's like, I mean, I'm focused, but what? I need it to be 10 times better now.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And then I look at it, and I go but having Ryan,
right?
But
exactly.
And then, but I'm like, but I make the show 10 times better. It's actually honestly, it's a pack of nerds comment, which I love because it's actually, I think it's pretty true.
It is.
But yeah, it's almost like Eric's a podcaster, and then Ryan just basically runs roughshod over shit, and it's kind of fun. But I can't say that's wrong.
No,
but we obviously really appreciate the compliments, of course.
Absolutely,
cool.
And if you want to see the opposite of this, you could check out the No Homework Zone, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast, which is where Ryan usually wants to talk about something, and I start throwing all kinds of random stuff in there. So
no, you're right.
It's a little bit of a switcheroo on that. So, but
switcheroo. So they go on. Sometimes the conversation goes off, so it's actually hilarious. I have to admit that I have only been listening for a couple of months. I started episode 65, so I may not be your biggest fan, but that's what I'm shooting for.
Hey,
and I like that ambition.
I do too.
I mean, right now, the number one fan of Turtle Soup is kind of hard. You know, we got some big hitters in there. We got Francisco.
That number one spot.
I mean, Francisco, more likely your number one fan.
Yeah,
that Crypt Keeper laugh, that Kino situation. We got a lot. We got a ton of longtime listeners that are huge fans. So we
do.
But you know what? You're in rarefied air. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, don't dream it, be it. You know what I'm saying? And there you go. This email is probably short compared to your other ones, but that's better, I think. And once again, I agree. I think brevity is the soul wet. Short and sweet. I can't wait to see where this ongoing journey takes you. Sincerely, Abigail. Well, thank you so much, Abigail. That is awesome.
Very much.
Thank you so much for your compliments and for all your kind words. That means the world to us and definitely keeps us going. We used to make like really insensitive suicide jokes at this juncture. We used to say something that was really insensitive about like, well, that makes me untie the cord from the fan or whatever. But now we're not going to say that.
No.
Did I just say it?
You did.
But as a sensitive way to say it, that definitely helps us keep going, Abigail, and that is legit. And if you haven't done this so far, and you're like just starting to get into the show and you're a big fan, definitely check out the Facebook group. Like join that. Like just go to Facebook, look up Turtle Soup. We're on there. Join that group because like that's where all your peeps are. And we're on Discord as well as Insta and all this different stuff. So go check us out there and get kind of involved in the conversation. And obviously we're live on YouTube, which I think you watch. Getting that live chat. That live chat's hot. You know what I'm saying?
It's
a lot
fun.
of people in there. But Abigail, thanks a ton. That is super awesome. Nick Baxter writes in.
Ooh, okay.
Hey guys. Nick Baxter, you know what I'm saying?
I
Subject
do.
line. Heyo. You know what I'm saying? He says, heyo. I just realized I haven't reached out since January of 2019. A lot's changed the last couple years, but I'm still in my food truck and the radio is still broken. That is...
Dang. I remember that.
Some things change, but some things stay the same. You know what I'm saying? And I got to be honest with the fact that, like, there's been a whole pandemic since we've talked, Nick. I'm actually really glad you're still in the food truck.
Absolutely.
I'm not glad the radio's still broken, right? But I'm really glad that, like, the food truck's still there and we're still doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that we're still sticking around. Just want to let you know I'm still here listening and appreciate you guys. Also need to get my ticket to Ryan's radically rewatchable rerun raffle. Thanks. You got to get them. You know what I'm saying, Nick?
You got to get
while you're in that food truck, you know what I mean? Like figure out a way that Turtles come out and fight their eventual fate off in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, subscribe on YouTube and comment on a video, Nick. And that's how you do that. But thanks, Nick, again. It's been really great hearing from you, dude. You got to write in some more and let us know how that food truck life is. That dude,
Absolutely.
some of those food truck emails were so funny, dude.
Oh,
like that,
absolutely.
I was loving that. But yeah, like I said, man, Nick, I'm really glad the food truck's still kicking, man. That's a sign that things are right with the world. You know what I'm saying? When it's animated series time, when you do an animated series, an email I look forward to seeing is an email from Malik. You know what I'm saying? Because
always.
It's got content
got
about the
stuff.
animated series.
It's got that heat.
Malik is like our animated series correspondent. You know what I'm saying? Your golden boy in Georgia. That's how it rolls. Hi guys, Malik again. I found this interview with the late William E. Martin, and it's actually an interview with. So William E. Martin was the voice actor for Shredder after James Avery left the show.
Right.
He dropped a link in there and I actually read it. It's actually really short, and it's kind of interesting because he just talks about having to listen to tapes of James Avery doing the Shredder voice.
Interesting.
And then like having to go like into the Shredder voice, and how if he ever wandered too far away, that the producer would like stop him and have him like drop in a line that sounded, or drop in a performance that sounded more like that Shredder.
Right.
Also, he was put next to the guy who did the voice for Krang. They were like constantly like standing next to each other and when they were recording lines because they were kind of the villains. And he said it was really cool working next to him because he was like really awesome at his job.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a short little interview and it's actually really enlightening about that. He says, also, I want to say congratulations. Season 10 is winding down. That it is.
It is.
And with David Wise back in the saddle for these last 3 episodes, things will be a bit more familiar than they used to. Kicking off with the Breather episode, Mobster from Dimension X. The title itself is a callback to the many Dimension X episodes of the past, including hot rodding teenagers from Dimension X, teenagers from Dimension X, corporate raiders from Dimension X, Slash the evil turtle from Dimension X, and convicts from Dimension X.
There you go.
I say Dimension X too many times. You say Dimension X. You just don't do it right.
That's right.
He says, in a way, David decides to cool down and give us a break from the 3-part time warping turtle / Return of Shrang arc that just happened, and featured character Dr. Hugsley resembles a certain evil as shit scientist from the Mirage comics. He includes a complimentary picture of your boy Baxter Stockman.
Oh,
evil as shit from Mirage, and I love it.
Dang.
It's funny to me because I agree, Malik. He does resemble or kind of feel because he stutters, kind of feels like Baxter. But story of Mobsters from Dimension X kind of reminded me a lot more of like Honeycutt, like the Fugitoid. That kind of made me give me some Fugitoid vibes. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is true. I really wish that like once again, if I turn back time, you know what I'm saying? I really wish that like I could turn back and actually have like Huxley be like that character design be Baxter in the beginning of the animated series.
Right.
I actually like that character design a lot more than like the super short white dude who was like super weird and like
I never liked that.
You know what I mean?
Baxter.
I actually like Huxley being kind of like the voice performance is really good, but he does remind me of like if they had done maybe Baxter Stockman right, actually. So that's actually a really good point.
Oh yeah.
As a result, it delivers a lot of hallmarks of a pre-Red Sky TMNT story, but it doesn't skimp on the darker moments, as you'll soon see for yourselves.
Oh yeah, we did.
Situation. There's some dark stuff happens.
There is.
I'll keep checking in whenever I can, and you can expect to hear from me when you reach the grand finale, Divide and Conquer. Well, thanks, Malik, a ton. That interview was actually really fun to read. And interesting insight on the Dr. Huxley from the episode we're about to review. Kind of Dr. Huxley Baxter.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily track that, but like actually that's starting to feel like that's how Baxter should have been the whole time, actually.
Yeah.
So that's emails. Thanks everybody for writing in. And we love to hear from you guys. Once again, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can hit us up anytime with emails. We love it to death. And don't forget to enter our Turtles Come Out and Fight that email contest because that's going to be hot fire. So all that being said, how about that review? How do you feel about just walking straight into some Mobsters from Dimension X?
That's what my shoes are made for, Ryan. I'm wearing my flip-flops with some socks. That's made for walking into Mobster from Dimension X. So
I told my son last night about when we're having a too late night conversation, because that's what we do. I always like turn off the light and be like, dude, you got to go to sleep. And it's like 11:30, and he's like, but I'm reading a book. And I'm like, well, nope, turn it off. And then we just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
I wound up telling him the story about, because speaking of your flip-flops, about the time that you got stung by the laziest wasp ever.
Oh, yeah.
It just crawled off the floor up on your foot and just stung you.
Right, yeah.
And how I felt really bad because like I saw it crawling up your foot and I was like, is that a wasp crawling? And by the time I went, it is a wasp. In my head, like, it got you. I watched it literally sting you.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah! And I'm like, and I remember being like, oh my God, I saw him walk on your foot. And I remember you looked at me kind of like, and you didn't say anything?
You didn't say nothing.
No. Because by the time I realized, because like wasps don't like crawl, like just like walk around the floor a lot. And like boy was so lazy. He didn't even fly and get you. He just like walked up and was like, well, this is a foot. And I got you. That was so funny, dude. Like, and he was like, what, really? Like, how do you not feel it? I'm like, I don't, it was really fast.
Yeah. I didn't, I remember, and it was like, I think that was the first time I've actually been stung by a
I think it was, because I remember you were like, because I remember you being like, I think this is like the first time, and like I'm worried because like I don't know if I have like reaction because I've never been stung. So I remember like we kind of like hung tight and just kind of like chilled and made sure that you were like not gonna like break out in hives or whatever, because we didn't know. Like, you know what I mean? So I remember like we kind of like got you a glass of water and just kind of sat there for a little bit. Like didn't really do much. Like,
oh yeah,
all right. So if like he goes into anaphylaxis, like I probably need to call 911. So you know, like probably gonna work on that.
Yeah.
Didn't we like? Didn't you text your mom to see if she had Benadryl? I think I remember telling you to do that.
That sounds like
text your mom to see if she has Benadryl.
Yeah, that sounds like something.
You're like, why? I'm like, just do it. And you know what her only reply was?
Thumbs down.
Watch your baby head.
Oh, that was what she. Yep, that's true. That is something that she would say. So, anyway,
here we go.
You ready? Let's do it.
Yes. It's season 6, episode 10, guys. It's happening.
You said season 6.
I said season 6?
You said season 6.
Okay, I got to redo it because we clip these now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, okay. Hold on. Okay.
Sometimes I worry too much about the delivery.
I get it. I'm right there with you.
The actual the actual verticals.
All right.
Episode 6. Here it goes. Episode 6. Yep. Season 10. 1987 anime series. It's almost over, guys. It's happening. This is Mobster from Dimension X. It debuted on October 19th, 1996. Written by Jeffrey Scott, directed by Tony Love. Now, small caveat before we get going. We just finished up the 3-part trilogy situation. Kind of heavy. You know what I'm saying? We did a whole lot of that. But here, we take a little bit of a step back. You guys probably just heard that email from Malik talking about David Wise, who had, was really the main writer and main man behind the show for the bulk of the show. Coming back in to assist Jeffrey Scott in working out the end of this show. So it was a bit of a David Wise ghostwriting situation. This episode is still credited to Tony Scott. I don't think that David Wise got proper credit for this.
No.
But directed by Tony Love nonetheless. But this is we're back. We're gonna, David Wise is gonna ease us back, and he's gonna hold our hand through the end. You know what I'm saying? And so it might be a little collab. You know what I mean? I don't have all the details, but it's that Mobster for Dimension X. You know what I'm saying? And here it is. Now we open up this bad boy live from the smallest tech unveiling that ever happened. It is like there are literally, I counted them, there's 14 people there. Wait, I didn't count the people on the side. I missed that frame. Damn.
Yeah.
There's 14 people in the middle, and it looks like 4 on each side. So not hard, you know what I'm saying, to figure it out.
Right.
22 cats in the room.
Yes.
It's not a lot. I'm not a math scientist. I can count that high. There's not a lot of people.
Right.
Donnie and the Turtles are watching this from a skylight, as the scientist that we come to know as Professor Huxley unveils his new invention, the protein computer. You know what I'm saying? Which appears to involve a thick slice of spam hooked up to electrodes in some green fluid.
It does. I could
spam.
I could never get a good lock on what that was. Like, it kind of looks like a piece of cheese, or like there was times where I was like, is that a brain? Like, I don't know. But yeah, spam, I didn't even think about
it's definitely,
spam. But yeah,
it's meat. You know what I'm saying? It's some kind of meat. I prefer to call it spam. You know
there
what I'm saying? It's what it is. Big slice of spam. Now, I got to admit, something about the term like protein computer kind of like gets my sci-fi going a little bit. I got to be honest. Because there is a lot of theoreticals about computing with algae and stuff like that in the real world.
Yeah.
That has led to a lot of science fiction speculation and stuff. But protein computer, I'm in. It's a breakthrough in computer bioelectrics, by the way, bioelectronics.
It is.
And the Turtles are absolutely bored to death. The other guys, they're like, why ever, Donnie, would you ever take us out here? And Donnie's like, look, it's not tech. I got to stay up on it. You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
Safety enough.
Yeah. When you do machines,
so Huxley,
you got to be up on there.
You got to be up on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want me to continue to do machines at my best?
Right.
Then I need to watch Dr. Huxley stutter his way through the smallest low pressure tech unveiling ever in history. So Huxley goes on to demonstrate that with the protein computer and a handy little headset he can wear, he can control electronics with his mind, and he demonstrates this. He cycles off the lights, he turns the AC on and off, he opens up these electronic doors, and he's kind of oblivious to the fact that, honestly, this is how you get zapped and turned into Fugitoid.
Yeah.
He must not have read that early Mirage, he must not have hit that Fugitoid one shot. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, we have, because it's the journey. But, he doesn't know about Professor Honeycutt.
He does not.
But hold on a minute.
Presumably.
Professor Huxley? Professor Honeycutt?
Yeah,
as if we wouldn't notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But he's wearing something that looks a hell of a lot like what Professor Honeycutt wore right before he became a Fugitoid. And if you don't want Fugitoids, you shouldn't do that.
No.
So he opens the doors. He's like, I can open the doors. And he opens the doors, but what that does is that lets the mobsters in. You know what I'm saying? Mobsters roll in. This is a shakedown. That's been one of the things I've always wanted to do in my life. I love the fact that you have to run in with a gun. In TV all the time, and some man bellows, "This is a shakedown." I want to do that so bad. That's bucket list for me. I want to come in and yell, because I love the fact that it's like, not only do you just like roll in with guns, that signifies that this is an event.
Right.
You have to declare a shakedown. Almost like if you don't declare it, it won't happen. Like there's going to be some like referee like going to blow a whistle and be like, "Oh, foul! Did not declare a shakedown. Everyone leave the building." Like you can't do a shakedown if you don't declare it.
So I wonder if we're sitting on like on like a gold mine here, where you know how they have those escape rooms. That what if what if we created like a simulated like shakedown. Like, what if we did that?
Oh,
Like,
so
where
you get to have a gun running and bellow, it's a shakedown?
Right.
It's a shakedown?
Yeah, there's a situation that you can like.
Yeah.
So it'd be essentially the same idea as an escape room, except you're put into a situation, and you have to either control it or get out of it or do something. And there's going to be all kinds of unknown elements, which obviously would be like an insurance nightmare. But like that would be kind of neat, I think.
It sounds a lot like Westworld without having to like really worry about like the robots and like the cyborg like Android.
That's
people.
true.
You'd be kind of like, it's kind of just like LARPing, but you pay money to do it.
Exactly.
I think if we capitalize, I mean, I hate to invite you all to our business meeting.
Right.
But that's what we're doing right now. I think if we capitalize chiefly on the fact that you do get to brandish a firearm, you do get to break in a door or force your way into a place, and you do get to bellow, "This is a shakedown." I feel like that's something that people can't get everywhere. People can LARP and do whatever they want, but you don't get to burst in with a gun and say, "This is a shakedown."
Right.
Like, there's only one guy in the gang that gets to say that, and we're giving you the chance to be in the driver's seat and say it.
Yeah. You don't get that every day.
You gonna get that anywhere else?
No.
This is a shakedown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only dream. So they roll in, it's a shakedown, and the turtles are like, "Well, we can't let that shakedown happen," and they jump in to help. After some rope-a-dope in which the turtles kind of scare off the mobsters, and you just got flunked, Buster, and
right.
You just, blah, blah, blah. Leo does an interesting thing. He swipes his swords at the main mobster. I think that he's the one that says this is a shakedown.
Yeah.
The main man, the alpha. When he jumps up onto the podium to actually grab the protein computer, Leo kind of like wards him off with one slice of his swords, but then just does like an extra slice.
Yeah.
Just to slice the legs out from underneath the table. Like, zero sword discipline at all. Like,
dang.
he's like, "Well, how about another one?" He's like out of control. And the protein computer isn't hurt. But like Professor Huxley has to grab it. Like you see like in the image there, he has to grab it, make sure it doesn't fall off the table, right?
Right.
This is going to come up later. You know what I'm saying? Because Leo. But so he stops it from falling over, and Leo does this for no reason. But the authorities wind up showing up, and then, of course, it's time to ninja vanish. And by ninja vanish, I mean just run past them and say, "Adios, dudes."
Just run right past them.
You know what I mean? Like, not like, I'm sure, like, Master Splinter, I hope he wasn't grading on that ninja appearance, because, ninja vanish being like, "Time to skedaddle, boots." And, like, they run past, and the guys are like, "What? Those are the turtles." Like,
right. Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, they were impossible to
weak.
miss. You would think that they would have had the smoke bombs or something, right? Wouldn't that have been an easy animation save that they could have just like thrown that? But nah.
I mean, the turtles can jump a million D. Like, they ought to just jump back up through the skylight. That'd be hot.
That would have been amazing. You could have just reused the animation and just like rewound it.
Exactly.
So,
just there you go. So back in the lair. We're back in the lair. Turtles back home base. The turtles are speculating on what anyone would want with a thick slice of Spam and green liquid anyways. Like, what's that do? But they all agree that there probably will be at least like one more attempt to steal it. Because typically, like, when they try, they kind of like, they want to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Because they need that Spam. Now, granted, I mean, protein Spam may be a rare resource in Red Skies, New York. We don't know. So it's hot, and they know that the High Desire Technology Showcase kind of wants that jam. So like they're kind of like, man, like, we got all to happen again. So just then, the early warning alarm goes off that apparently signals teleporter activity somewhere in the area, and the turtles automatically assume that it's Dreg coming back from Dimension X. So they all run out to intercept the would-be teleporter. In some warehouse out there, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere in this warehouse, we are introduced to the Globfather.
Yeah. We are.
As one of his cronies tries to explain what went wrong with the protein computer theft, Eric, talk about the Globfather.
Globfather. So real quick, they show him in silhouette first, and you're like, "What's this?"
He looks kind of like a turtle.
He kind of does. He kind of,
which
I thought was kind of neat.
That. Me too. I thought like, oh damn, is this like remember when they had the fifth turtle, that episode where like they're the one that like got away kind of thing? Remember that? Like they got cloned or something. It's been 190 episodes. At this
it has
point.
been
like whatever. But I thought for a minute I was like, because if you look at that image, like, I mean, and for people listening to the audio podcast, I mean, he's in silhouette. He's obviously got like a kind of a fedora on.
Right.
He's got kind of a stocky build, and if you look at his eyes, there's green around him, which looks like a turtle.
Yep.
And then look at the way his face kind of expands out to form the sides of the beak. That looks like a turtle to me.
It totally does. And or it could look like a punk frog, which they have had dealings in some nefarious things, you know, just because they were misguided. But nevertheless, they've been on
because they were sold into slavery. Let's be honest. We
that too.
I mean, they were typically sold into slavery.
That is true.
Typically to Leatherhead.
Right.
And were made to do things. You know what I'm saying? That maybe weren't so great.
Exactly. So they let this hang for just long enough to like pique your interest and be like,
what could, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yes. And it's like, what could this be? And then all of a sudden you get the reveal, and it's just this mess. Now, he is very interesting. So he's wearing like the fedora and like the gangster outfit. He essentially just looks like slime with eyes and kind of like gills for like a nose, and then weird teeth. That's pretty much him.
Cat teeth.
Yeah, that's pretty much him.
I mean, I'm not the one that called him great value Clayface.
That's true, but
that was
very
said
apt
to me in the hallway at work today by a voice that may have come from inside my head. So yeah, like he's just kind of constantly glooping. He's kind of got like a constant kind of like a drippy gloop. You know what I'm saying? Little Pizza the Hut.
Yeah,
little Pizza the Hut, a little bit of great value Clayface going on right now.
Right.
And that's what he's doing. So he tells us that nobody fails him twice. You know what I'm saying? Nobody fails the Globfather twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes ahead and touches the offending crony who was the leader during that last, the man who yelled, "This is a shakedown."
Yeah.
He gets the goop, causing this like green goop he is made of to like kind of leach off of him and consume this man.
Yeah.
Down to the actual ground and literally melt him into a little tiny green pool of goo that then like slides out of frame under its own power.
Right. Yeah. That's
he
terrifying.
That man.
He did. He gave him the
that is
a
fate. That is a fate only reserved for if you're playing drums for Spinal Tap. Like that's the only that's how you die.
True. Yeah,
just a little green globula on the drum seat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what happened. But this guy, all he did was just not get the protein computer.
That's true.
So that's how the Globfather deals with things.
Mm-hmm.
The Globfather goes on also to inform us that his other goon, all of his other goons, that if they fail him, they'll meet the same fate.
Right.
Before informing us that he was sent to Earth to get the protein computer by someone from Dimension X who will pay dearly for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that he is now going to accompany the goons on their next attempt to make sure it works. He's
right.
Like, I'm going to be on site.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when your boss says, like, I'm coming in to the office, and you're like,
great.
Well,
yeah.
You're probably going to cover me in goop.
Mm-hmm.
For you kids without a job, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
That's how they dehumanize you. That's the first step.
Totally post-COVID. That's how that happens.
Absolutely. So, in them streets, you know what I'm saying? We're back in them streets.
Right.
The turtles follow the teleporter beacon to the warehouse previously occupied by the Globfather and his goons.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking in the door in a weird, like, hardcore parkour style. Like, kind of like not very impressive. Hardcore parkour. Like, they kind of like, one, like, bumps into it, and, like, the raft, like, stabs in a minute, and then, like, then it kind of breaks, and they're like, yeah! And they hop in. The turtles only find the gooey boy on the ground. And and at first he's just goo. And they're like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Donnie, right on top of it, he's like, that looks like protoplasm.
Mm-hmm.
And the turtles are like, whatever you said, nerd. It's gross. So they walk away, and they're like, I wonder what else is in this crazy warehouse. And then this cat rolls up on them, bro. This green goop boy rolls up on them. He rolls right up the floor. He manifests an actual face.
Yes.
And starts muttering like weird shit. And like he goes, the Globfather. And they're like, did he say, and I love this because I love it because like Leo's like, did he say the Globfather?
Right. Yeah.
And
he can't
honestly,
even believe it.
I think that's, I feel like that's like one of those like Spaghetti Johnson things we used to have.
Oh yeah.
We're like sometimes you Spaghetti Johnson, but you're right.
Right.
So if it was me and you'd be the one that go like, I think he said Globfather. I'm like, does that make sense, Eric? Globfather. He's a pile of glob himself. He obviously has some kind of like speech impediment. He was probably trying to say Godfather, but he can't. Given, the pile of scum. And then the guy goes, no, he's right. It's Globfather. And you're like, I told you it was. And I'm like, how is that even a word?
Exactly.
That's how Eric blows me out. That's basically how I get blown out by Eric all the time.
That's true. Facts. Yeah.
Eric's like kind of wrong. And then he's like super, super right. And you're like, well, I never would have saw that. Never in my life would I saw that.
So, I just wanted to take a moment to think about real quick. So this guy, this piece of glob.
Yeah, he's a glob.
Was a man, now a glob.
Correct. He was a human being.
Some point, the Globfather had to hire him, or at least come into contact with him to make an agreement to work for him. Right? Would you see the Globfather like? Where's that line? Because at some point, if I saw the Globfather, I'd be like, no, that just looks like trouble. And yeah, I'm not. Now, he might have had a third party, like been working with a middleman that got the gang together, and then this might have been the first time they're seeing him. But
okay,
I don't know.
So in my headcanon, I think what I can easily see is that typically when you roll up on the mob, like, and you're like, I'm a new guy and I want to like kind of rule y'all, and like and you need to respect me. Right. There's usually some kind of showdown where like some wise guy is like, tell you what, how bad are you? When he like pulls his gun out.
Right.
I mean, probably like, I don't know, try to make him dance, with a little gun, or try to pull some other Goodfellas trick.
Yeah.
And like the bullets went into the goop, and they all went, wow, man, like that guy's hardcore. And then like basically like he was like, all right, well now like that y'all can't fight me and respect me.
Right.
I need like 4 of your dudes. And that's probably how it went down. They're probably, and then at that point, he's probably offering a lot of money.
Yeah.
Frankly. And people in that lifestyle, cash rules everything around me.
That's true.
What I'm saying?
That is true.
And they're like, I'll do it. But yeah, I do like, he had to actually recruit that man.
Yeah.
And tell him like, I'm going to pay you and I want you to lead my guys in the field, and I want you to be like basically my capo.
Right.
I think I kind of wonder curiously, like, is the Globfather just a name that he takes on because he's here and he did a little research about Earth and he kind of knows about the mafia and stuff?
Right.
Or is he known as the Globfather in like other parts of like the universe where he like also dresses like a mobster?
Right.
That's weird. Or that actually starts, instead of like ancient astronaut theory, you start thinking about ancient mobster theory. You know what I'm saying? Like, where mobsters are around, did the mob come out of our culture, or did like mobs from the mobsters from outer space come and make mobsters here? Yeah, I don't know. Now you got me asking all kind of questions.
That's a 4 a.m. History Channel for those who are curious. But
yeah, for sure. Or 1 a.m. AM radio.
Absolutely, yeah.
They get the party started a little earlier. The Lizard People party starts about 1 a.m. on an AM radio.
Goodness. Now, the other option is that his mom named him that. So, yeah, like just speaking that into existence.
I mean, I hate to throw my 40K back in here, but Father Nurgle is called the Plague Father. Like, and that's just universal. That name is old as time. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he's the Globfather in that way.
Could
be.
He's
actually more of like a godly being, but on Earth he has to take like a mortal form.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
It's very interesting. Anyway. So this guy rolls up and he's like, I'm going to talk to you now. Gave me a little bit of like Hellraiser vibes, a little of that, like the pile of muscle and meat on the floor is going to talk to me, and that's disturbing. Gave me a little vibe like that. I'll be honest. Like, I got such sights to show you situation going on here. Like, like all that stuff. But he does manage to convey some information. He gives some details on Professor Huxley. He talks about his lab and how the Globfather plans to steal the protein computer before he just basically gives up the will to live and goes back to being a glob on the floor. The turtles are like, well, we got to get out of here then. And they leave his ass there. Straight up.
Just straight up.
There is no Donnie T. There is no Donnie T. Like, what this was a human being. Like, I can flip the phase. I can fix him. They just leave him to this fate. And spoiler alert, we never follow up with this guy.
Yeah,
he was a human.
I was super surprised by
he's
that.
An amoeba.
Yeah, I was
they didn't care.
I was not expecting. I was expecting them to at the very least come back to him, but
No, this is that darkness Malik was talking about, bro. Like, it's happened.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I need to get ready for this next part.
I figured as much.
Okay, here we go. All right, you ready?
I think so.
At the computer science lab that has 3 soldiers guarding it, granting it, that's right, 3 times more security than the nuclear power plant had on duty the other day when Mung just took it over.
Right.
We're there. There are 3 guards, and they have a mounted laser cannon.
They definitely
Meanwhile, at the nuclear power plant from last episode, or the last trilogy, no one's there. Spoiler alert. There's a 4th guard inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you where the priorities are. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're there. There's security. And guess what happens? You get a little bit of a better episode out of it because they have to deal with security.
Exactly.
So, we're shown. So we see these guys outside, which immediately triggered me. I was like, oh, so we're going to guard the computer science lab. Literally, that's what it's called. Like, on the building it says computer science lab. Okay?
Right.
We're going to guard that guy, and we're not going to guard the nuclear power plant then.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're telling me.
I could make the argument.
And Dreg got to use that power plant for actually like 5 actual days.
Right.
No interceding at all by any of the authorities. Computer science lab, we got to have some dudes on. We have some dudes on duty. Obviously, it's computer science.
Right. I could make the argument that they learned their lesson and that they needed to up security, but that even seems like I still feel dirty saying that. Like that. No.
You should have used those 3 men with the mounted laser cannon, and the additional man, the additional hunk that's in the building later. All 4 of them should have formed a crack team to go back and take back the nuclear power plant from Dreg and Mung somewhere in the last 3 episodes, because that would have been more resistance. And let's be honest, the Batmen, they just shoot goo guns. We could have got there.
Yeah, these dudes don't look. They've seen their fair share of goo. I don't think they're scared of goo guns whatsoever.
No.
So yeah.
No, they're looking mean and tough. So we go inside the lab, and this is where we are shown that not only does Professor Huxley have a son, but apparently he didn't know his child was even in the top secret lab until the child's toy RC car hits him in the foot.
Yeah.
To which this man, a father, says, "I thought you were with your mother."
Mm-hmm.
And kid says, "Well, she was working at she's working late nights at the med lab." And he's like, "Well, I guess just stay here." And I'm like, "How did your son get in the building?"
Yeah.
You not know? How did that happen? And this sets up a pattern where you realize that, unfortunately, Professor Huxley has a problem in which he cares more about his work than his child. And it's going to show, because no one cares about this kid.
Nobody.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
No one actually cares. Now, what I liked about this episode, and production-wise, is it did sound like they had a genuine child do his voice, which I appreciated. It wasn't like an adult doing a kid voice. It sounded really like an actual kid, which I really appreciated.
I didn't even pay attention to that, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, probably like somebody's kid or something. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one cares about this kid. So the Globfather and his crew now roll up to the outside of the computer science lab, up on the security, masquerading as a general and his staff coming to review lab security.
I love it.
They're actually challenged for a password.
Yeah,
which is more than you got at the Indian center, energy center, at the nuclear power plant. They get challenged for a password before the thugs pop out, show off their magic cards, and just start blasting. You know what I'm saying? They're like, "These are my magic cards," and they just start just going off. Right here's our pass. They start like going nuts. You know, somebody else is a shakedown. It's not in the subtitles. And I appreciated that. Because it is a shakedown, and they're following the rules, and the Union will be happy with them. Once in the lab, the Globfather's like main goon, like next man up, Capo, is still pretending to be carting around this general, by ordering Huxley and his son to evacuate. And I gotta be honest, Huxley goes, "Yeah, sure, yeah, for sure. Like, screw the protein computer. Like, yeah, I'm saving my own life, and come on, kid." And they're about to go. But now also, I just wanted, before we get into the intercession here, I want to also mention, guys, that the Globfather still looks like the Globfather, y'all. He's just wearing a general's outfit now.
Yeah, that's it.
He rolls up, and he still looks like he does. You know what I'm saying?
Like
and he's like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm a general. And I'm like, well, Huxley just buys that. He's like, yes, sir.
Right. He manages to find the most convenient shadows in every situation he's in. Like, he just finds like the darkest, most like concealing shadows just that don't make any sense, but they're enough to where you don't question it. You don't like, but I wonder like if there was some sort of like politeness there that like Huxley might have, or like, see, wouldn't that be cool if like he had like, this is a little obnoxious, so forgive me, but like if he had these you know, some people have the mutant powers, or some fictional characters have mutant powers of like pheromone control, and they can like affect how you feel. What if he has this thing? The Globfather has this thing where he makes it to where you feel like you don't want to offend him, and so you don't say anything about his appearance, and that it kind of like I don't know, that's me shoehorning you know, getting that in there, but like I don't know, that's a neat little thing, but I think it's a little unnecessary because I still like the idea that shadows just hide him.
No, so he did find a good shadow here, but the problem is that like he still walks out into the light, because that's how he basically says like I need you guys to evacuate, and he further walks into the light because the kid that no one really wants to care about decides that it'd be fun to run his RC car into the Globfather's leg, into his dad, because he's like, well, no one cares about me, like I just run this car into people's feet.
Yeah,
and maybe it's a cry for help, and they'll see that they need to actually know my name. They need to like mom and dad need to know where the hell I am. I got into a top secret lab. Yeah, I didn't have to give a password. No one cares. The guys just looked at me and goes, "Who cares?" So like I got in the lab, so I'm gonna be obnoxious, and I'm gonna run the RC car into this dude's leg. Somehow this causes the pants to tear. We see the pants physically tear because the RC car apparently has that much torque. That's kind of intense.
That is intense.
And when the legs, if I was a 5-star general and you ran an RC car into my leg so hard it ripped my actual dress pants, my dress uniform, I would be like, why? Like, that is actually dangerous. It is. It could have broke my ankle.
It is.
But it's okay, because this happens to tear open his pants and causes Globfather Gloop to run out of the pants. Even though the Globfather has like no problem maintaining his form at all. It's not like it's running down his shoes.
Yeah, no.
But I guess maybe he like wasn't preparing for that. I can only pull on one of my favorite aspects of name brand Clayface, in that like he does talk extensively about having to hold his form a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And how like every part of him, even to maintain like the anthropomorphic shape he has, is holding it like a little bit.
Yeah,
and it's a little easier. It's almost like being on like a marathon jog or a marathon like fast walk to keep a face that looks like Clayface, but he's trying the whole time to look like something that resembles a human.
Right.
He can shapeshift into where he looks just like someone, but that's like flexing a muscle. Yeah, and he can't do it for very long, and he has to let go. But even when he's, and I'm sure that this being a really distinctive part of him that I actually really appreciated, was that like he would actually be like a big ball of clay, kind of, if he wasn't always trying. And I kind of like, now when we move to great value Clayface here, I kind of think like maybe that's part of what it is, like to hold the actual shape instead of being a big goo on the floor. To stand upright and look like the Globfather, like that takes a little work. And when he's in pants, he's like, well, like, I'm not going to put in as much work on those legs. But then, like, it rips open and it causes it to gloop out. I have no idea. That's how we tell. Besides the fact that he's an actual man made of gloop, it's the gloop coming out of his pants. That really tells everyone he's not a 5-star general. You know what I'm saying? Like, to that confirmation.
And to that point, the guy that he did turn into the pile of gloop, that could be the same reason why he is not a man, a glob monster. Like that could be the same thing, that he doesn't have the same. He could form the face, but he couldn't like form a anthropomorphic mind.
Like he's either not adept enough to do it, like he hasn't learned it, or like being a lesser copy of Globfather really can't actually, doesn't have the facilities to do it.
Right.
That's a good. Damn, that dude's still screwed though.
He is.
They just screw people over now.
They do. They don't care.
They used to do it before. So that's probably the biggest change about Red Skies. Before Red Skies, they used to. I mean, they would still royally like destroy people's lives.
Oh,
but it seems
absolutely.
like it was because like the writing didn't care. I feel like because the writing was like, well, I mean, like, he's okay. He winds up being okay. Like it's fine. Like it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Here it's like, no, I think that like they were kind of like, no, his life is ruined. Though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they just write him out. It's like, no, he's probably still back there being a gloop. Like that's probably what it is. So this is apparently what it takes to finally destroy Globfather's cover.
Yes.
Yes. That's the money shot because you're like, you believe that man is an actual 5-star general, like human man who's like coming to shut you down? Yeah, sure.
Right. Yeah.
But no, when the gloop falls out of his pants, you see that
is
when I cross the that's one step too far. I can't actually follow you there. So once again, everyone just starts blasting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what we do. When we get back to the corner, we just start blasting. The turtles make an awesome entrance via another broken skylight.
Yes, thank you.
And they start up the fight times. You know what I'm saying? Now, during all this, a lot of stuff happens. You know, Huxley gets all scared about the health of the spam slice and the little thing. And he's like, oh, my God, protein computer. So he indelicately just rips it out. He rips out the spam slice, the big piece of spam. He grabs that, pulls the wires out, doesn't care, and shoves it inside the RC car of the son no one cares about.
Yes.
And I'm like, what are you actually doing? Like, I would think that if you ripped out the protein thing and shoved it inside an RC car, you basically destroyed the protein computer.
Yeah, that would be my understanding as well.
Maybe it's more resilient. I don't quite know. But he does this thing. He does this. So now the Globfather just gets naked now. He's just like, well, I'm just going to get actually naked and just be a glob man now. And he accosts Raph.
He does.
He kind of does bad touch, no asking. There's no consent here.
No consent.
He just covers Raph in the protoplasm and explains that he will soon also become an amoeba like himself, as will anyone who makes content with the goop that Globfather leaves on Raph. He's like, so people can't even touch you because they're going to be an amoeba too, buddy. The Globfather then like separates from Raph because like Raph was kind of in his body for a minute, and now he's like, well, now I'm going to pull away and leave some of my gloop on you.
Right.
And then straight up displays that all of his clothes he seems to wear is just him magically taking the shape or the color of those clothes.
Yeah.
Like he manifests them almost like a little bit like our Clayface boy who could just like become whatever he wants. But the problem is earlier his pants got ripped like fabric, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
That's got some holes for me. But,
it does.
Then he pieces out. He grabs the protein computer. He grabs your boy Huxley and goes like, I'm out. This leaves Raph still covered in goop though. So the turtle's like, dude, like I don't even know if I can touch you, bro.
Right.
Like I'll be honest, like because I want to be goop. Like I love you, dude, but like,
but yeah, I ain't.
I'm not looking for it.
No,
and I ain't looking to have a goop problem. So Leo, this is how we want to resolve this. Leo, the same dude that just minutes earlier almost took out the protein computer himself when he just cut the legs off a table in what appeared to be a misplaced extra sword attack for no reason. Just Ginsu's the protoplasm off of Raph like he works at a Japanese steakhouse. Like he literally like gets it done and it just works. He just Ginsu's it off and that's it.
I love it because it shows like his proficiency.
Yeah.
But it also show like I can see Leo being like, all right, we ain't got time to mess with this. And you kind of go, it's very similar to the parent who like lifts the car because their baby rolled under it or whatever, like that kind of fight or flight thing. I could see Leo just being like, all right, nobody wants to touch. We got to go. I'm just gonna slice and dice and see what happens and hope for the best.
So Leo gave us like 100 on this. He gave us he gave us 100% on this one.
Absolutely,
110%. Like he left it all out in the field. You know what I'm saying? Like
he did. He did.
Well, hey, I mean, it works. I mean,
did.
it gets results.
Hey,
I can't
argue with results.
So, turns out, though, while this is all happening, the boy that no one cares about is super big sad that the Globfather took his dad, who doesn't really care about him anyway.
Right.
So he grabs his backpack and runs off without the turtles even noticing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the turtles are like, oh, who's that? And he just runs away. The turtles suddenly notice, though, that the protein computer is gone. They get real bummed about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decide to watch security footage for some reason. It was a pretty smart move,
Yeah.
which clearly shows both Huxley's little spam slice in the car trick, shows that off, as well as the kid no one cares about shoving said car into his backpack and hauling ass. So they just see all that and they're like, that's pretty clear. That's a pretty clear chain of where we got to go next. I like that. Inside April's dope apartment that I wish I could just hang out in. I wish I could spend the night there sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like guys, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not being weird. Like, I don't want to like spend. Like, I just want to sleep on the couch. Like, I just want to like be there with April at night when it's raining outside, maybe. And I just want her to work on her old computer, type in stories that are not about the turtles. And I just want to like read magazines and just like listen to whatever she's listening to and just be in that room. Is that weird?
So no, not necessarily. So it's essentially like you want to be like that chill hop panda animal that has like, but in her. In her
That's
domain.
exactly what I want. I want to listen to Chill Hop with April while she works on totally normal news stories in that little loft, and I want to be raining outside. Right. And then when the night's over and she's like, I'm heading to bed, I'll be like, cool, see you in the morning, and I sleep on the couch. That's what I want to do.
Here's the wonderful thing about April, especially this April. This April is like not about that old life that she was in. She was not about
she's not about that old yellow jumpsuit, sewer slimalingus, none of that.
Yeah, none of that
life.
And so she's kind of seems a lot more focused, especially like it's almost as if like the internet, well, like it did with a lot of people, if not the world, changed her life and opened up like, it was like Aladdin's magic carpet,
it opened doors.
It absolutely did. And so this April is just like a black hole of for knowledge. Like that's probably not a good analogy, but she's just like a vacuum for knowledge. Like she just wants to like to know everything and how she can do things.
She's a vessel. She's a vessel for knowledge.
That's
she
another
wants
good
to
word.
like bring it in and like get it in the dome. She wants to dome in a dome.
So the thing is that imagine being in her apartment and she finds some cool information. She's going to be able, she's also a reporter, like an on-screen personality. So she can articulate some news to you or some like interesting facts, and you're just going to be fascinated. All the while, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ryan, they could call you at any moment. Yes. So you're just sitting there hanging out, and it's just like an afternoon, 4:30, and then it's the shell phone. Let me get that. Oh, now we got to go save the world, And it's like, I don't know. So I totally get what you're saying about how just being like, it would be really cool to be friends with April. And I don't know why more people aren't, unless she's just solely just on the internet now. And that makes a lot more sense. But
yeah, I just feel like I'm really sad that like Irma's not around because like, look, I understand that I can't jump through the TV and hang out with April. I've tried.
It's true.
But Irma was already in the universe. Like Irma should be like on the couch, like working on something. And I'd be like, this is awesome. Like
unless
these two friends hanging out, and then there's some chill hop, and then like everyone's just working on stories, and it's all good. Like that's kind of where I just want to live my life, and that's where Irma should have lived her life. But she's probably off with Rex One.
I was about to say
Howie or something.
Off with one of them dudes,
and off one of them dudes. Probably like looking for some more dudes. And meanwhile, like April's alone. But don't worry, she won't be alone for long because she can't. She can't leave that life. You know what I'm saying? That life just keeps pulling her back in every time. So it turns out, just minding her business, clearly, after clearly stating that she no longer wishes to be involved with the Turtles crap anymore, effectively, and April just says, I'm done. She receives a call from Donnie on the Turtle comm that is just laying open in the top drawer of her desk, already like tuned into the phone call. No need to open it.
No need to open it.
That's where April is right now. April's like, I know it's going to ring.
Yeah, might as well.
And they're just gonna come straight through. Like they're gonna do FaceTime with me. I can't even agree to do FaceTime. Like maybe I'm like not feeling like to be in FaceTime right now, but like they do it because that's how the TurtleCom works. So I'm just gonna leave it open, and like Donnie's gonna call me, and like it's gonna happen. So Donnie's like, all right, hey, like I need you. So let me explain to you what happened. Effectively, protein computer got stolen. That sucks super bad. Turns out Huxley's son is named Ronnie. That's a new one. And everyone's like, he has a name. Doesn't like nobody care about that kid? Like this kid's got okay, cool. Ronnie, if I remember that. Ronnie got away with a protein computer brain in his little RC car in his backpack, and he's just on them streets, and we don't know where he is. April, if you don't mind, I know you're in the middle of a bunch of stories. Could you maybe call the NYPD and put out an all points bulletin on a kid that no one cares about, like you own the place? And April's like, sure.
Yeah, no questions
asked.
asked.
April picks the phone up, calls like Sergeant O'Malley, which I mean, if you're Irish, you gotta be really tired of that. Like you gotta be like, oh yes, the police chief, the Irish man. Like that, like whatever. But hey, you know what? Like it would actually be. Would it be actually kind of crazy if you got involved in a job that like did a lot of work with law enforcement, like something I don't know, maybe make like videos for law enforcement, like training or something, and you just got to meet a lot of these guys, and you found out that every captain of every sheriff's office or city police you ever went to was Irish, and it was all just real.
Or better yet, if it's not if it's not like weird? It would be, but like, what if it's not like their actual name? That it's like, no, that's the title you're given. Your name has changed in order to get this. You have to do this. So it's a mandate.
So there's like a bunch of like Captain O'Malley's and stuff. Like it's kind of like, oh, and that's like a title you take. Oh, damn. Help in my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So remember, guys, this is the same NYPD that when April ran into the building in person and said, Dreg's got like a chicken robot and he's going to kill us all. The guy goes, get to the back of the line.
Yeah.
She calls Sergeant O'Malley this time, though. And turns out she's trying to get the APB. She's like, Sergeant O'Malley, I need you to do something for me. I guess back at the warehouse, they're not very clear. This is probably back at the gang's warehouse. It turns out that protein computer doesn't work without the spam part. You know what I'm saying? Without that thick slice of spam. You know what I'm saying?
Need it.
I know we talked about this before, Eric, but like, you like spam?
We've talked about it before. I don't think I've ever actually knowingly ingested it. So
you know what? I'm recalling this conversation we had. It was a long time ago. I believe that you said that. And I said, bro, I got to make you a spam sandwich.
You did.
With some thinly sliced fried spam. And we never did it.
We never did.
So add that to the bucket list.
Yep.
It's my grandmother used to make it all the time. It's super good. Super good. You don't want to eat too much of it, though, because, you know, it is like the worst. But it's really good. Really good.
Can it run a protein computer? The thinly sliced parts? Okay.
Of course. No. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That'd be a multi-core protein computer.
Okay.
This is like a single core, so it has like one thick slice, like about half a can.
Oh, okay.
Of spam
That makes.
is like
I can see that.
Thing. That's kind of what's happening.
Right.
You're not a spam scientist. I understand.
I'm not a spam scientist.
All of a sudden, like it's not like you lied on your interview. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
You are not spam proficient. So turns out, the thing doesn't work without the spam piece. So the Globfather turns to threaten, and does threaten, Huxley to turn him into an amoeba unless he tells him where the spam at.
Right.
Huxley then proceeds to fold like a lawn chair, straight up spilling the beans on his son Ronnie.
Yeah.
Telling him he put the protein thing right in the damn RC car. It's in his backpack. Go get him. I don't care. Like, he folds on his son like it is nothing. Yeah. Almost like he doesn't care about him.
Yeah.
Almost like he doesn't care.
And I just want to just add that we're not exaggerating. This isn't writer's room. We're not making this up. This is like legit. Like, nobody shows this kid any concern whatsoever, and is just kind of
the speed at which he folds on his son is like ridiculous.
It is.
Like,
it is.
It's literally like if like some like weird mobster from like the 1850s rolled up on you and went like, I need all your money, and you're like, oh crap. He's like, that's right, give me $5, and you'd be like, huh. Oh yeah, sure, here you go.
Right.
Oh god. And he'd be like, ha, sucker, you ruined for life, and like runs away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he folds on his son. He goes, oh wait, just my son? Yeah, no, he's got it in his backpack, and he's in the city somewhere. His name's Ronnie
right.
Huxley, and go get him because I don't care.
here's his social security number. Here's his cell phone number.
Date of birth, like identifying moles and marks,
some hair.
Like a DNA sample. You know what I'm saying?
His favorite food.
Like here are his frequent hangouts.
Right.
His friends' names.
Shoe size.
Where he goes to school.
Right.
Where his mom works at the med center. All this stuff. Yeah, like he just folds on him, and it's just hilarious.
And then I don't know. Well, you're still watching the DVDs, right? Because you still have the DVD set, right? You were watching it on the DVD set.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm watching it on the DVD.
Okay,
set.
so you probably saw. I don't know if you have the deleted scenes where they put the deleted scenes in, but there was an alternate take where this next part where they go after the kid, where the Globfather just calls the school and says that I'm a friend of your mom. And he picks up Ronnie, and that's how they get Ronnie. And so, but they decided to change that, and they didn't go that route.
They did because they wanted. They kind of almost went like PSA with it.
Yeah.
And I remember the other problem about it was very remarkable. The other problem about it was that Ronnie was wearing a shirt that had his name on it.
He did.
And then the guy goes, Ronnie, and he's like, "How'd you know my name?" You know what I mean? And then that went.
Exactly.
I'm gonna start just wearing shirts that have my name on them.
You should,
because I'm going to tempt fate. Back in the 80s, they told us. They said, don't wear your shirt with a name on it because that's how stranger goes, Ryan.
Right.
And I go, how'd you know my name? And he goes, your mother's in the hospital, and that's how you get taken by like that dude that that fiddles. So the thing is, now I'm just gonna wear only clothes with my name on it. And I'm gonna roll around, like go to the mall and be like, come at me.
Yeah, come get
bro,
you,
man. You're dead ass. What happened, right?
What?
Like some kiosk salesman dude would be like, "Hey Ryan," and I'd be like, "How'd you know my name?"
Right.
That's what happened.
Oh, absolutely. You'll forget every time.
T-Mobile cat be like, "Hey Ryan, what up?" I'd be like, "Bro, do I know you?" He's like, "Yeah, man, come here."
Right.
And then T-Mobile. I'm like, "Dad, you got me!" Like, oh, and then Fat Albert comes. He's like, "It's because your shirt says Ryan," and I'm like, "Damn it!" That's what would happen.
Oh goodness. Yeah, every time.
But
every time
I'm willing to do it because I want that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
It.
That's where I'm at. This episode is so far off the rails. I feel like if we were a train, the TSA would be called. They would be an investigation already into it.
Absolutely.
So the Globfather orders his goons to find the kid. You know what I'm saying? But they reasonably ask, how would they even know how to go about that task? Like, he's just some kid in the city. Like, because while that director's cut had him give up, all his social and everything like that, in the actual episode that made it to air, Huxley folds on his son, but he basically says his name's Ronnie. He's got it in his backpack. Like, I don't know. He ran away from the lab. I don't know where he is. I didn't even know he was in the lab, frankly, when he showed up. So I don't know where he is. And the guys asked, the mob's like, yeah, but Globfather, how the hell are we going to find this kid in the middle of the city? Because, I don't know about this kid. Good thing you ask. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, it winds up being very fortunate for the mobsters and the Globfather because it's a really good thing that Donnie T called April and had her call the NYPD like she owns the place.
Right.
And then it was really lucky that she was successful in getting an APB put out on a kid that no one really cares about. And that the police drafted a statement for the press, apparently, about the missing kid no one cares about. And that the press picked up the story as breaking news. Yes. And that they ran the story on live TV with no details besides the kid's name.
Right.
And that the Globfather and his goons happened to be watching that exact live news show in the background while they were doing a shakedown at the same time.
Yep.
And then we're quiet, and the Globfather literally said, go get the kid. And the guys go, well, how do I do that right at that very minute? Or they would have talked over it when they see a breaking news story.
Yep.
Where the guy says, here's a picture of Ronnie Huxley. And they're like, got him.
Got him. Goodness.
So, turns out they get a look at this kid no one cares about. They're like, oh, Ronnie Huxley, that kid? Yeah, no one cares about him? I'm after it. So, the Globfather and his goons, head out to get that boy. They leave your boy Huxley with the old dirty insulin on him, and they basically say, look, that's my insurance policy.
Yeah.
So if it turns out your kid's got it, I might come back and unglob you.
But see,
I don't think he was planning on doing that.
No, and that's good on the Globfather.
Promises made, promises kept.
That's good on the Globfather because the Globfather, I think, knows better. Globfather wouldn't give up his son like that. So he's teaching his dad a lesson. Don't do that.
Absolutely.
You're being the
absolutely
worst.
not.
So, yes,
I'm
actually for the Globfather here. Like, good on him.
Globfather's like, some things run thicker than Glob.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Is what he said.
It does. And the Globfather at this point is the only one who cares about Ronnie. Isn't that weird?
That actually got that really kind of broke my mind.
Yeah.
That's actually absolutely true.
Yeah.
The Globfather and his goons are the only people in the entire world, including Ronnie's parents, who actually care about Ronnie.
Yeah.
That's a sad state of affairs. That's how you wind up in a gang.
That is how you wind up in a gang. Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So this is where Eric takes over.
I forgot that this is where I'm taking over. Okay. So yeah.
This is you. Yep.
So back in them streets, we got our turtle boys, and they're in the turtle van. Now we get a shot of the turtle van.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, something about the turtle van shots lately have been really neat. Like I feel like we're getting shots that angles we haven't seen before, or at least in a while. And this is a very interesting front view of the turtle van, and it's just I just want to just take a second just to admire it. It's one of my favorite designs in all of like animation and actual toys, and it's just there's something just so good about it, and also so terrible. Just the iconography of it. I love it because it kind of looks like an Arby's in the sense that Arby's has its name on every single side of the building, and then they have the big sign. Do you know this? So every time I drive past it, I just keep saying Arby's, 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 like as I'm reading everything. And that's what this reminds me of. It's awesome. Like this is the turtles. Did you see the front, the back, the side? Turtles, everything.
No,
and I love that.
They got on self-branding super early. I remember the first time we because we all had those like toys back in the day, but I hadn't really sat down and looked at them until we really started as an adult, until we started really reviewing the toys.
Yeah,
I remember always being just so obsessed with the fact that that first edition April figure for a long time had the TMNT show logo on the back of her yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, real discreet, April. You know what I'm saying? Like real discreet. Well, I don't know who dropped off this turtles footage, but it's pretty hot fire. And it's like maybe it was the you. This is long before her aunt came and found the sewer slimalingus.
That's true.
And linked it all together with DNA. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
She was giving herself away with damn logo on the back. But I just remember thinking I understand it, when they first started making toys, they were like, look, we got to make sure people remember this is a Turtles toy, because it's not a turtle, frankly.
It's not.
It's not Shredder or Splinter, so it doesn't look like something weird. It looks like it's a woman in a yellow jumpsuit. So they were probably like, well, we got to brand it up. But the Turtles branded up. The Turtles got the logo on the side of the turtle blimp, big ass logo. I mean, they know how to do it.
Well, they also
brand identity.
Yeah, exactly. So they know a thing or two about being in the streets looking for people. So they're out on the prowl looking for Ronnie. And we see some weird animation of a car turning that was very bizarre. But just then after that, we see Ronnie appear from behind some garbage. He takes off on his skateboard and gets spotted by the I keep saying the Globfather, the Globfather's monsters. I can't even talk. Mobsters.
There's a lot. There's a lot of words going on today.
There are. And this is just great. He's just on the skateboard. He's skate or die, just shredding all over the place. And then just happens to go right in front of him.
Because no one cares.
No one cares. That's why they're so good.
He learned how to skateboard and no one cares. Exactly. That's the whole thing.
So, So they take off and pursue him through all over this, parking lots and all this stuff. Well, and he's able to do all kinds of tricks on this board, but then out of nowhere, a shopping cart just appears as if it's a challenger from Super Smash Brothers, and it's just hopping in. It does. And this shopping cart wrecks your boy. Your boy was dodging and weaving and all this stuff, and then when you look at his actual skateboard, it really just looks like a 2x4 that's
with 2x4 with two Coke cans under it.
2 Coke cans underneath it. Yeah, that's exactly. And the fact that he could do all that on that kind of board is impressive. But
it is.
And word up to Ronnie for wearing a helmet. Safety first. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, safety first. You followed after your boy Carter. Carter was always safety first. That's his legacy on the show, and now he's got his helmet on. I like it.
I have a theory about this too, which if I remember, I'll come back to. But it has something to do with Carter's kid that we didn't talk about last episode in a screen cap that I caught. But we'll talk about that later. Maybe
Carter's
not.
Kid?
Yeah. So we'll save that for later. So anyway, so our boy Ronnie falls down. and from being like totally obliterated by the shopping cart. And
Totally.
the mobsters tell Ronnie, they show up to him, like they get him in the headlights, and they're like, all right, well, like they just want your backpack or his backpack. That's all they want. And but the turtles show up before they can get it. They're like, the kid keeps the backpack and we leave you alone. How about that? Because like they flipped it on the mobsters, what they were saying. And turtles,
that's a strong counteroffer.
It absolutely is, especially when you're dealing with a Ninja Turtle with a grappling hook. Like, but I gotta say, the turtles' entrances this episode have been phenomenal. Like they just like are like really stepping up their game instead of just
they have they have stepped up the game for sure. They're like, we are here,
because prior to Red Skies, like they would just yell turtle power and then run 3 blocks like just in your direction, and then that's how these ninjas would do it. But here they're like on a rooftop and they're just doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm really impressed with the budget that they put into the entrances here. But anyway, so at this point the mobsters run back to their cars to get the guns, which I guess they didn't want to scare the kids, so they didn't have them on him. But they get their guns and they decide to just, all right, we're just going to start blasting. So they start shooting at Ronnie, and Ronnie's just like, I'm just going to stand here.
Worst shots ever.
Yeah.
They shoot at him for like actually 20 years.
They do.
And no one hits him.
And the turtles even run into fire. Donnie knocks their guns away, and Leo does this weird jump where he grabs both guns. And they then, like, get on the other side of the mobsters and, like, just kind of, like, all right, we've taken care of them, but now where's the Globfather? Like, we got to find him. Oh, he's in the car. We can't let him out of the car. So, like, let's lock him in there. Which I don't know if that struck you the same way it struck me, but like that seemed very, very strange. Like something that almost is like that's something a villain would do. And I guess I get it given the fact that he is he is effectively a liquid form, so you're kind of having to keep him in something contained. Like that would be ideal, but like something about that just seemed very like like they're crossing some dark paths that I didn't think the turtles would.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird because this kind of reminds me of Pizza the Hut, like how Pizza the Hut died,
right?
In Spaceballs, because he ate himself because he got trapped.
Yeah,
he had to eat himself. Like when they said like let's trap him in the car, I was like, no, he's gonna eat himself.
Right.
Like, I actually had like a weird like PTSD like Spaceballs moment.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's weird. It's weird.
It just
like
seems
this whole
strange.
sequence where it's like, let's keep him in the car, like, and they have to do all this stuff to keep him in the car. It's like very odd.
It is. So like they're like, oh, he's opening the windows. Like it almost seems like the turtles are trying to break into the car and steal the car or something. And like I guess that's kind of where it triggered me a little bit.
It's like the polar opposite. It's like the polar opposite of stealing a car, where you're trying to keep something in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, so, like, it's an interesting sequence. It's weird though.
Oh, it totally is. Well, yeah. So what's neat though is that they realize he's trying to open the windows and stuff. So Leo severs the battery to the car, and somehow that triggers like all the car to shut down and
stops
like
it does, and it stops the power windows.
Right. And so the Globfather finds a way, he finds a slit through some vents and gets out of the car, like just gloops himself out. At this point, he makes his way over because the turtles are just kind of like beside themselves at this point. They're like, all right, like it's kind of like watching somebody, that thing in checkers where the person can make like multiple moves and they just do all those moves to like get all of your dudes or all your pieces.
Yeah.
That kind of seems like, okay, so the turtles had their move. Well, now the Globfather is going to go and do all his moves and get you like, see where you're at. And that's kind of where they're at. And he just like comes out the car, reforms, and has his whole outfit again, which classy Globfather. Like when we're doing the review, somehow I turn around on these things. Like, and I'm actually liking the Globfather a lot more.
He's a sharp dresser. He would have killed in Havoc. Like,
totally.
you know what I mean? From like beginning Red Skies, he would have killed in Havoc, dude. He would have been like a heavy hitter, like right under like Titanus, right underneath Titanus. He would have been like Titanus' number 2 man.
Oh
And
yeah,
he would have killed in Havoc because he's kind of unbeatable in a lot of ways.
right.
Like I'm kind of I am a fan of his design and stuff. Like it's actually kind of cool. I mean, it's a little bit of that great value Clayface, but he's got that. By get the muck on you and you become an amoeba on him.
Exactly.
That's kind of a cool power.
It is.
Gotta be honest.
It definitely is. Well, again, I like that I like that they don't want to take Ronnie, but at the same time, this is just again reinforcing the fact that I wanted to say they cared about Ronnie, but again, they just love him for his backpack. That's all they care
just
about.
Want his backpack.
So they tell Ronnie to run. So Ronnie takes off and he heads up a fire escape. And so the Globfather I have it, but for some reason Globfather got corrected in all of my notes. So yeah, forgive me.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. Globfather, he takes after, like he's trying to like go get him, and the turtles are like, nah. So they Raph ends up hitting him with a trash can lid, and it's very strange, this whole fight scene. But anyway, they somehow some of the splatter gets near a gutter pipe, and I guess the rest of his consciousness can be transferred to like parts of him. And
it's like if he gets blown apart, a part of him like can still be sentient, but then the other part like left. But then there's clothes on top of him, and I'm like, but I thought he turned himself into the clothes.
Exactly.
It's weird. And then the other half of him climbs up the thing.
Yeah, it climbs up this thing.
Spider climbed the water spout. You know
exactly.
What I'm
exactly. And it happens to be the same water gutter that is right next to where Ronnie was running up the fire escape.
Oh yeah, that's no coincidence.
Right? No. And it forms a hand through it finds a hole in the pipe, and it forms like this hand, and he grabs the backpack. With such force, Ryan, that it tosses Ronnie off the ledge of the fire escape. And no one cares. Globfather is just like, yep, nope. It's your choice, turtles. You can go after me, or you can save the boy. Boy or the backpack, as I like to call it. And that's
boy
probably
the backpack.
Might be
take the boy.
Don't take the boy. That might be the name of the episode. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. But boy or the backpack. Then he promptly leaps away and takes off with his boys, and they go back wherever they were to their hideout. And you just see him just be like, oh, there they go. Then after about like 5 minutes of the turtles just watching them leave, then they remember that Ronnie's there, and so they get Ronnie, and they're like, all right, so They start talking to him and figuring out, all right, well, like, this is what's happening here. Where's your father? We need to know. Like, we're going to find your father. Don't worry about it. And there's that. So now back at the hideout. Still think it's the hideout. Yeah, I think this is the original hideout where the dude was the gloop. He got turned into the glob.
What's disturbing is I don't see Gloop Boy, though.
That's true. I don't either. So who knows? But we see Ronnie's dad with the slime on him still. The Globfather then gets in contact with his alien benefactor. And
guess who?
It's your boy Dreg. So
it's your boy Dreg.
I'm kind of glad to see him back, but at the same time I'm kind of like, I kind of was hoping for like a little bit of a like break. But, then again, we're almost at the end of the season, so like there's not much wiggle room anyway. But whatever. So we see Dreg and Mung, and they appear to be aboard some spacecraft, and we see the microbots in the background.
It's the Dreadnought, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, you can see the microbots fixing everything.
Right, that's what I was saying. So I guess I didn't put that fully together until you just mentioned it. I knew it might have been, but like I didn't realize that the microbots are fixing the Dreadnought. That I thought this might have just been something they were building when I watched it originally, but because
the
he makes mention,
could technically be rebuilding another Dreadnought because like Donnie warped part of a sun inside the other one.
That's
I don't know if that one fared very well.
Yeah.
Like, so they could be, to your credit, they could be building a new ship.
That was my understanding, or at the very least, they're on the what remains of the old one, and they're fixing it. I don't know. There was a lot of ambiguity as to what it is.
They're salvaging it, yeah,
right,
for sure.
So, but nevertheless, they're on a ship, could be the Dreadnought, and the Dreg starts talking about his plan, and that's apparently to hook the to be able to hook the protein brain computer into the national phone switching network so that he can control all earthly computers with his brain. So Mung tells him then at this point that the Dreadnought is not ready, but Dreg tells him that they'll use the transporter to get to Earth once the microbots finish fixing it. Okay, so that's probably where we're at with that.
Third damn vortex transporter he's had those damn poor microbots build.
Yeah. You'd think by now that they'd be indestructible, but no, they keep breaking them. So somewhere on Earth, we don't know yet. We see security guards just chilling. Well, actually, these are the bad guys, but we see the security guards just chilling, and some of Globfather's men are using literal scissors, as evidenced here, to cut wires somewhere in this building, presumably. And apparently, this is some sort of science facility, and the wires were the alarm system. So this causes an entire blackout, and they can't find we can't use the phones and we can't do anything, and it's just a huge mess. We see the Globfather's mobsters just bust in and start taking captives, and they're like, all right, so this is another shakedown. Exactly,
this is a shakedown.
So
that's what it is.
So we see Globfather shows up with Ronnie's dad, Professor Huxley, and tells him to hook up the protein brain computer to the telephone switching computers, which this is now we find out is the actual building, the network building. And so the professor just simply puts the protein brain into the actual computer, just in a computer. I don't even think this is the actual this wasn't their original machine, if I'm not mistaken. They just kind of sit in there. If I recall correctly, they just kind of put this, I think there was an animation mess up. I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but it looked like he just shoved it in this thing. And
it's just another machine, the telephone switcher. It's a telephone switcher machine. I don't
exactly.
I don't think you're supposed to look too deep into it.
Right. Well, that's what Turtle Soup does. You know what we do. That's our whole point. So I'm looking for everything, and this, I don't know. I was just like, I guess Professor Huxley just throws this spam anywhere, and it just works. So there you go. We see the Globfather put on the telepathy helmet and that the professor used earlier, and he's like, incredible! I can feel my mind connecting to millions of computers around the world. And so, Ryan, who is one person?
That's how you get Lawnmower Man.
That is how you get Lawnmower Man.
If you don't want do you want Lawnmower Man? Because that's how you get Lawnmower.
That's how you get him. But who do we know who doesn't? Who, one, does not want Lawnmower Man, and two, is all about being hooked up to them computers at the moment? Who do we know that has an apartment?
That'd be Dreg.
No, think earthly.
April
O'Neil, my friend. So
April would love to do that.
She would love to do that. So we cut to her apartment where she is connected to her computer, and she is toiling away at something, and then her system crashes. She says, "Good thing I have a cellular modem in my notebook computer," which I'm like, dang, this is 96 money. You know what I'm saying?
Money.
Yeah.
All that money.
Yeah, all that money.
Dude, that girl paying by the minute, and it is expensive on that cellular modem. That's insane.
Oh, totally. So
96, baby.
Yeah.
Boys, I just got the actual dial-up internet in 96, y'all. Your boy had just gotten hey man, Mom, if I get net zero, it won't cost us anything. Can I please have the internet? You know what I mean? That's what I had to do. Your boy was open up hyper terminal going to BBS's, son.
Oh yeah.
That's where I was. Your girl's got a cellular modem.
Yes. Which is nuts.
She got a Wi-Fi laptop.
She do. In 96.
Pretty hot.
That is.
Loving it.
So she pulls out her laptop, her notebook computer, and gets to work looking up what's happened. In no time, she figures out that someone has hacked all the phone lines. And then we see the Globfather appear on a screen. Well, this is the image of all the phone lines being hacked. Globfather appears on the screen, giving a warning that the lines of communication are under alien control. And she goes, "Oh, well, let me use another very expensive device that I have at my disposal and use my telephone. And to call the authorities and let them know what's going on, because that's her role now. And apparently she gets the same message. So then she uses another piece of technology that is more than likely very expensive, the Turtlecom, to call the turtles and hope that they can handle this, which they told her that they could count on her, or she could count on them. And that's what she's doing now.
Turtlecom is like analog radio based.
So,
by all indications. So, they can't hack that.
They can't, and at the same time, it does. It sends pictures and it's FaceTime.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff. So, that's a highly desirable technology showcase thing she's got going on right there.
Donnie T was an innovator. Let me tell you, if he would have brought that stuff to market, put on that black turtleneck, you know what I'm saying, and no pun intended,
right?
He would have had some big ass tech reveals, unlike your boy Professor Huxley.
He would have. And the other thing, I don't think we've ever talked about this, Ryan, but like, think about this. So look at how Dreg was when he first appeared. Dreg looked like a monster. Like, he looks like an alien, like sci-fi creature. And yet he was very easily able to like win over the hearts and minds of the people of New York, at least in this cartoon.
Oh, hands down.
Just by saying that he was going to like clean their water or do something to their water.
Oh, do all the stuff that no one ever did for him. He's like, I'll give you clean drinking water for free. I will make the city safer. I'll turn the lights back on.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what he's promising.
Right. And he had them in the palm of his hand. So
hands down.
All Donatello had to do is just come up with some inventions that, like, even half of the inventions that
we talked about that at the time.
Did we?
At the time,
okay, I didn't
Greg
remember
was on
doing
that campaign. That we talked about that because I remember saying it feels like if Donnie T would have put some of his technology into helping the city, then the city would already be like, oh, the turtles are our savior. They're awesome. Like, they help the city. But he kind of held that tech to himself, playing kind of selfish with it. Dreg just brought it to the people. Yeah. And Donnie was left holding the bag. I remember at the time really feeling like Donnie was like a little Pikachu'd out, like, what? Because he's like, give the tech to the people.
Right.
They would like you. Like, he never even thought of that before.
Yeah.
Dreg was smart. But
he was. Yeah, I guess I forgot about that.
I can fix the water, for free, guys, because we're all about helping the city. They'd be like, oh, we love you.
Right.
But he never did it.
It's fascinating to think about that. But then again, I guess you figure he's a teenager, so he's not totally thinking about that yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, it's true.
So it's hard to say. But yeah, I just love that thought process of or thinking about that and ways that they could have done it without fighting. Would have been very interesting to see. But nevertheless, April O'Neil, she calls her friends the Turtles because she can count on them, and she she informs them of what's happening. And is catching them up, and because they've been in the turtle van running around, so Leo deduces that he has to be at the Globfather has to be at the phone network, the phone switching network. Like, that's where he's got to be. We got to go to that building. So Donnie uses the van's cell phone to call the national phone switching network building to try and tap into their own network. And at this point, the Globfather is aware of what's going on. Like, he's connected to all of this, so he can kind of see all these things.
Oh yeah.
And he's aware and sends them a wrong number message, and then is able to take control of the turtle van and its weapons.
Yes.
So
I love this. This has such a Battlestar Galactica, no networked computers feeling to it, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
We're
totally
all of a sudden okay, well now we use so many network computers and the Cylons just take over all your stuff.
Right.
I loved that idea. I loved him hacking the turtle van through that phone call. I was just, as some lawnmower man.
Oh,
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. that starts to turn the episode around. Because at first I'm kind of like, all right, the kid no one cares about, the protein computer, the Globfather, like he's got an okay power set, but he's a little bit Clayface, and we know that Batman TAS is kind of like whipping Turtle's ass right now, so that's kind of disappointing. But then like this happens, I'm like, this whole sequence going on, I love this because this actually to me like is a scary thing. I think it's really cool actually. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And so I love how he said his message is, "You dialed the wrong number, fool." And I'm like,
love it.
That's interesting. I like the choice of words there. So that works for me. Yes. Well, he takes the initiative and goes ahead and uses one of the Turtles' cannons that they just have in the turtle van. I
thought those were like surface mounted on the top.
If not that, then the thing that is out on the side when the sidecar pops out, maybe. But like,
oh, they do have that gun on there sometimes. They have like a mounted gun that comes out the side, maybe it like activated inside. That's kind of cool.
Right.
That's weird.
He takes control of this and he blasts the doors off the back, sending Donnie like flying out. And I'm like, oh, another shot of the turtle van doing some cool stuff. So Leo is able to catch him and bring him in, and then he continues blasting things and taking control of the steering. Like they shoot like this thing down off this building, and they're just wrecking cars left and right because the Globfather's got control. So he ends up putting the Turtles on a collision course with a what looks to be like a semi truck, if I'm not mistaken, or some big truck, one way or the other. Yeah, and they're not sure how to do, because Mikey's driving actually, and Raph's sitting passenger. And this is what's neat, and especially in the dark skies, we see the dashboard of the turtle van, and it looks like teched out. Like that's one thing we've been seeing like, consistently, which is really neat.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of it. It seems a little more than the prior seasons had, but I like the upgrades. And anyway, so yeah, they're going straight towards this truck, and Donnie tells Raph to wreck the van's computers, and he does so because Raph, has no problems just wrecking stuff when told to, especially when told to. Nope. And so, so he does that, and this gives them control over the turtle van again, and they're able to avoid the disaster of being hit by a truck. And at this moment, Donatello just magically gets this idea of how he's figured everything out, and they have a solution. So they're going to head back to the lair. Well,
I'm sorry, really fast. Is this one of the times that he cuts the kid off?
Yes, it is.
He does this several times. So just like one thing that it doesn't come across in our review, right? Because you're not hearing the audio or the way they do it, is Ronnie figures out how to deadass fix everything like about 30 or 45 full seconds before Donnie even thinks to do it.
Yes.
And then Donnie hears him say it out loud, cuts him off, and goes, "Guys, I got it."
Mm-hmm.
Like these kids rip him. The Turtles rip this kid off every second.
Yeah.
The kid was the one that said like, dude, just destroy the computer connection to the internet. Like destroy the computer, like in the turtle van. And Donnie's like, wait a minute, I got it. Mm-hmm. Raph, destroy the thing. And it's like, and this happens. It's like a motif, which is more kids. People don't care about this kid.
Exactly.
Like Donnie T rips him off like 4 times in this episode. I'm not joking.
No,
he does it 4 times in a row.
You are absolutely right. Yeah. This is where I think we were talking in the pregame show about how the What If show, Marvel's What If show, how it truncates some stuff, and it's like when you watch it, it's like some of the things, the normal pacing of conversations and things happening are very quick, and it's a little odd. This episode is evidence of one of those situations as well, where like that happens so much, and it's like they're trying to show you that this kid, there's something weird here. They're trying to expedite the story to get it like towards the end. And at first I was thinking that maybe they cut him off because like to save time, but then as we've been talking, like maybe it's just the whole thing to show that this kid, nobody likes this kid.
They rip the kid off. Like
exactly.
They just constantly like act like and Donnie does this. It's mainly Donnie. He's like, this is my idea. But anyway, also one other note I wanted to add was that I actually really love the destroy the computer and we get control of the van back, like manual control, because that's actually really good writing. Because like often what they would do is they wouldn't even think of it, because the whole idea would be like, well, now he's just infected it.
Right.
Like he's infected like a virus, but that's not actually how the Globfather has control of it.
Mm.
He has control of its controls because he has control of it through the cellular connection.
Right.
So I actually really like that they cut that off instead of like say just wrecking the turtle van and forgetting about it and being like, well, he had infected it. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually, it plays by its own rules, and a lot of times this show forgets stuff like that. So I wanted to point out like a case where like they really did think it out on this one. I love the sequence a lot.
Right.
Like a lot.
So now we go to the National Phone Switching Network building. Dreg teleports in, and Globfather gives him the telepathy helmet, which all of a sudden just fits him, like it form fits, because Dreg's head is obviously very different than the Globfather's. We see that he notices that the military are trying to regain control. And it's pretty funny. This scene was pretty funny to me for some reason. But he notices, like I said, that the military are trying to regain control. And we see inside some military base, and a person is using a computer to attempt blocking, as evident on the screen, on your screen and their screen. And Dreg then says, "Not today, Satan," and just blows their controls up, just blows their screen up, and just blows everything up. And gains control of their particle beam satellites, which are shown here. Dreg uses a satellite to blast some mountain. I'm not sure which mountain this is, but it's in front of or behind.
It looks real like vaporwave though. It looks
it kind of does
when he does it.
It totally does.
You know what I'm saying?
All the neon and all the colors. Yeah.
The color palette looks super vaporwave to me. I'm like,
absolutely,
that's pretty cool. Like, hey, could that be like shining through April's apartment window while I'm hanging out there?
Oh, absolutely.
Just make it look like perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. You could be watching that like on the TV as you're just chilling, and then
it's like looping it, just like exploding in that colored thing. I'm just like watching that while I listen to the music, and April's like working on the thing.
Exactly. So so then so after he's used that the particle beam satellite, Dreg blasts the mountain, and it's in front of like this massive city, and then all of a sudden you see his face on the military screen where he's like, "This is Lord Dreg," and he's addressing everything. Turns out they're seeing it, and I believe that he is also showing himself to the League of Nations that we finally get a full shot of instead of just one representative. They have 15 minutes to comply, or he'll do it again. Essentially, that's his demands, or else he's going to do what he just did with the satellites. So back in the lair, Donnie's working at it with Ronnie, whose face is just like totally dejected, and the turtles don't even look happy here. They don't want to be in this episode. I think they're getting kind of haggard.
He's like, oh yeah. I mean, I barely want to be here. So Ronnie effectively has the look on his face, guys, of they're about to take my idea again.
Yes.
So now, I wonder if they're not trying to imply a bit of a Penny and Brain versus Inspector Gadget thing. Like, I wonder if they're not trying to imply that like a lot of like his dad's inventions and genius are kind of like ideas that Ronnie just blurts out.
That's a good idea.
Dr. Huxley's like, "I got him, boys."
Right.
Like, I made the protein computer. I wonder if like, you know what I mean? Like your boy Ronnie got a Spam sandwich, and just opened the Spam sandwich and goes, "Protein could probably be used to switch at like a superconductor speed if you did this." And then his dad's like, "I made a protein computer."
Right.
Like, and that's how it ran.
No, that's a very good. Oh, totally. That's a very good point. And then it's just further exacerbated by the turtles doing the same thing.
Of course.
But yeah, so Donnie thinks he's figured out a way to end this. He's made himself a helmet that will allow him to tap into the main phone computer. Except when he says this, it's Raphael saying it because the animation got messed up. But
the color.
Yeah. So Ronnie suggests testing it first, and of course Donnie agrees and manages to control various electronics in the area, but he can't fully control them. Mikey tries and causes a small explosion. At this point, Ronnie suggests reducing the optic stimuli in order to concentrate your thoughts. But and then again, to your point earlier, just before Ronnie can get to attempt his fix, Donnie comes in and snatches the helmet and says he figured it out and turns a light on and off with his helmet, with his mind. And so just
closes his eyes. That's
precisely.
It closes his eyes to concentrate, and he can do it.
Right. So Ronnie gets butthurt and heads off somewhere. The turtles, in their excitement over figuring out the helmet, head off to stop the Globfather and say they'll find the kid later. Just dead ass, just like, we don't have time. We got to go take care of this. And it's like,
because Ronnie wanders off. Like Ronnie pulls a Carter, but like and just run off in the sunset. But in this case, it actually is totally valid because
totally
no one
justified.
cares about Ronnie.
Yeah, no.
And Ronnie just got dead ass like run over, and then had someone else claim his idea, and he's like, "I'm out."
Right.
No one cares if I'm here or not. I'm just out anyway. So
right.
I'm gone.
And that just seems so uncharacteristic of the turtles, just to run out and be like, "We'll find the kid later."
They don't care.
They don't care.
I'm starting to think this kid has like some kind of Omega level stuff in him.
Oh, it could be.
Where like he might be affecting people to like make them like kind of forget about him or not care about him, and he because he's like, you know, obviously hasn't attended our boy Charles' school. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, he hasn't learned how to fix those powers up, so he just exudes this like feeling of like no one actually gives a shit.
Right.
Like, but it's not their fault. It's just they forget him.
Yeah.
Because that's his power.
Right.
That'd be cool as hell.
That would be.
Man, I'd be all about an X-Man like that. I'd be all about a super like New Mutant character, like New Mutants. If that was a New Mutants character,
I could see
Ronnie,
that.
I'd be all about it.
Yeah, because it's like because inevitably it'll be self-fulfilling, because like this person has feelings of dejection and being overlooked and stuff, but yet their mutant power is forcing other people to do that. That'd be very interesting.
Imagine what you could do with the comic though, because if you got meta with it, the comic could forget about him. Constantly.
Oh yeah, even better.
Like, do you know what I mean? So so you have like narration, and you pick up another issue, and like no one remembers Ronnie. Like everyone's just acting like Ronnie, and then Ronnie shows up, and people are constantly like, "Dude, oh my god, how'd you get in here?" And he's like, "I'm Ronnie." They're like, "Oh, that's right." Like, that'd be so cool.
That would be. That would
awesome.
be. I like that idea a lot. But another thing I like a lot, Ryan, and we talked about this last episode, is the League of Nations, because back at the National Phone Switching Network building,
my boy
Dreg is speaking to the League of Nations, who have relinquished control of the planet to him, and just then, our boys, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, wreck another skylight, which apparently all like buildings in New York, or at least all science buildings, have skylights. I don't know why, but that's a thing. Let us know if for those who live in New York and have been on the rooftops, let us know. Does every building in New York have a skylight? Yeah. Why so many? We need to know. turtlesoup@gmail.com. And so, the turtles crash through a skylight, and and in typical Red Skies format, they run and hide and take cover from guns being shot at them. So once they're in cover, there's too many of them to get for Donnie to get close to the computer. So Dreg then decides he's going to use the satellites again to destroy a dozen cities, and starts to, let's see. Okay, there we go. So he starts doing this, like he starts like going towards the controls to do it, and then we see Leo and Mikey like do this thing where they take his grappling hook and run to the other side of the room. Just then, the Globfather with all of his goons start running cartoonishly into the grappling hook rope, which is like they saw the turtles do it.
Yeah.
Like they literally watched
them do it, and it's at like waist level.
Right. And they get tripped up, they get rope-a-doped, and by the grappling hook, and this gives Donnie an opening, and he runs over and connects to the computer.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird like football analogies in this entire assault.
Oh, there is,
because his helmet looks like it looks like a football helmet.
It does.
He's always like, block for me.
Right.
Oh, I got to get to the end zone, and I'm like, why did they go weirdly football here?
Yeah, that's strange.
Mention it. It's strange. There's a bunch of football analogies made, then they drop it right here.
Yeah. So then this weird car keeps trying to run Donnie over but the other turtles end up. Oh, I'm sorry. There it is. And then the other turtles end up taking care of it. So.
Dreg. Dreg was doing that.
Dreg's doing that, but the car just comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, what is this?
No, because I love it though. Because Dreg's like, get out of my console. But like, see, I love this because they're not physically fighting. Like they're doing it with their minds. So like they're standing like 5 feet from each other, and Dreg's like, get the drone on him. Like I like that a lot.
Right.
That Dreg's controlling his drone, trying to knock him over because he's trying to get him away from the console.
No, I get
so he
that.
can like take over stuff.
Yeah. I guess I felt like, because as I mentioned earlier, it felt like a lot of the stuff in this episode is rushed, especially at this point. Okay. I felt like that wasn't like fully articulated, or maybe I got lost when I was typing my notes. I don't know. It could be either way.
Got it. Okay. But because it sounded to me like you just thought it came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh no, like I think it might have looked like that, but I really think that Dreg was sending that. To try to mess with Donnie's concentration.
Makes perfect sense. No, that you're probably right. That's probably what it actually did happen. So
I'm good at that. I'm good at being almost right.
You're good at being almost right. That should be on that should be on the back side of the shirt with your name on it. Ryan, good at being almost right.
Check in the chat really fast. John Clemens drops out. He goes, tabbed out for 1 second and come back to Don's helmet. LOL. What the?
Yeah.
We'll feed you, baby bird. That's a that's a mental mind helmet that lets you control the internet.
That's how you do it. That, for those who are wondering, what Facebook, everyone at Facebook, that's what they wear when they're controlling you and your memes and all that. That's what they were doing. So
and then they say, gotta shut down the satellites.
Exactly. And so so Donnie's trying to shut down the satellites, and he's avoided this car because the other turtles finally take care of the car. They're dealing with it. So this reminded me of a thing where like an 80s trope where you have two computer geniuses like working like on computers trying to outwit one another.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed it.
I really like this, actually. I really like the kind of the battle of wits and the battle of minds here.
Exactly.
Like Donnie and Dreg. Like, that's cool.
It is.
I think that's really cool.
It is. I definitely did enjoy it. So while all that's happening, like I said, Donnie and Dreg are turning off and on the satellites. Just keep switching them off and on. Yeah. And it's just
I love it.
over. It's great. So just then Ronnie shows up with his car, and he gets the car to use a stack of printed dot matrix paper as a ramp to launch it onto Dreg's keyboard, and this causes a malfunction and gives Donnie control finally to over the satellites. So Donnie has control over the particle beam satellites that the League of Nations has as a defense mechanism, I guess, to do something with, because why does the League of Nations have this?
Probably to shoot down nukes. That's loosely based on the proposed Star Wars project.
Okay.
Like the Star Wars project was to use either lasers. The hope was lasers to like heat them up and destroy their guidance equipment.
Right.
Or to use conventional ICBM rockets or some other form of rocket to blow them out of the sky. But that's basically what that is. That's why I think they're there.
Okay.
Effectively.
Well, so he has this ability, and granted, obviously, that these are powerful weapons. These are not like, toy guns or whatever. No. These are super powerful weapons. So what does Donatello do, like, as his first move in control of these satellites? He decides to destroy the Globfather's car outside the building. The turtles have already wrecked. They already messed that up already. And
they kind of bonus level in Street Fighter that thing up already.
Oh, absolutely.
What I'm saying, like dun 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 dun. Like, they already had that going on, but then also, I love it. Donnie's like, as my first action, yo, Globfather, how about that whip?
Exactly.
Done.
Just done. And that just cracked me up so much that his first move is that. Just wreck that car.
Yes.
And so
target practice, bro.
Exactly. He then he uses the other satellite to wreck another skylight, and then oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. He's very like, well, how about this? And then wrecks the skylight, because apparently there was another one the turtles hadn't done, and I guess they have a thing against skylights because in the sewer. They don't get a lot of
I mean,
light.
look,
I don't know.
dead serious. Here's the deal. Like if you're sitting somewhere in the city, you know what I'm saying, you got windows on your side, but all you see is more city. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason there's so many skylights probably is because like you want to look up and see something that's not city.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Meanwhile, also in my head canon, Donnie needed a little target practice before he shot the thing orbiting space, like orbiting the Earth down through a window and right on Dreg's actual face and not his face.
Okay.
I think your boy needed a little bit of like.
I get that. That makes a lot more sense.
You know, let me get the Kentucky windage on this particle beam laser real fast and sight it in before I decide to give Dreg a hot foot about 2 foot from myself. You know what I'm saying?
That's a very valid point. I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's more than likely. I think you're absolutely right that he did that. So at this point, Dreg's like almost got hit, so he's running away screaming. Then Ronnie's dad comes in with the slime on him, and it's actually more slime than he had on him before, which means that he was probably trying to pick at it, and it just kept growing. So then we see that Donnie uses his mind
they say not to scratch it. They say not to scratch it. Don't itch it. Don't itch it. Don't itch it. And look what happens. Look what happens when you do it.
That's what happens. So
that's a lesson to you.
It is. So Donnie uses his mind to control the weird car from earlier that was trying to run him over to go over to the professor, and turns out that it's a vacuum car and sucks the slime right off him.
It sure does.
All of it. Just sucks the slime right off of him. Like,
sucks why does Slimalingus off that man?
Why is this thing here in the telephone network building? And what? Like, I have so many questions. So, anyway, they won't get answered. But we do. Probably this is not the last time we see it, because then we see the Globfather and his mobsters trying to make an escape, but the turtles are able to stop them. And then we see the car vacuum go up to him, and guess what happens? Yeah, so
get sucked up.
Yeah, that's what happens. So at this point, Dreg is just yelling for Mung to beam them back up to Dimension X. Ronnie and Professor Huxley are reunited, and Mikey makes a joke about how he'd been able to trip Dreg up if he had a cool car like Ronnie's, and then ends up tripping himself up, and everyone laughs at him. And that is the end of the episode.
That's the end. Mikey's last. The way they end that is that the turtles start to thank Ronnie for actually doing, pretty much like solving all the problems, and then Mikey goes, "Yeah, well, like I could do it."
Right.
And then so let's just cover up one more. No one cares about the kid.
Exactly.
I think I'm actually more in love with our idea for Ronnie as a New Mutant than I am with most characters that are in this episode. I think actually that's the best one.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
No,
I get it. I get it.
I actually really like that idea.
That idea is a great idea. No, but
your boy, okay, like your boy Ronnie, just like Ronnie said, be my little baby.
Be my little baby.
And Ronnie was someone's little baby at one point.
He was.
No one cares about him.
Nobody does.
In general, it's funny. So the setup for this episode is a little old school TAS, a little like kind of bonkers and kind of a little weird and a little bit like, okay, but like what are the stakes,
Right.
I gotta say, right around the time we got into the telephone switching thing, we got a lot more into like, okay, now we're gonna get like control of the phone lines. I started to really like it. So it was one of those things where they turned the promise and the premise on me. At first, I was like, look, I can't see 3 security guards outside the computer science lab when there was no security guards outside the nuclear power plant. I can't do that. There's a lot of little things that were kind of bugging me earlier.
Right.
But then, like, when we come back, I kind of feel like, you know what? The minute that the Globfather gets control of the turtle van with the cellular connection.
Yeah.
And starts wrecking stuff and, like, shooting at the turtles, like, with their own laser guns and, like, hitting other cars and, like, whatever. I was kind of a huge fan of that. And then it kind of kept going, and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of here for this.
Yeah.
And I was really here for that, like that battle of the minds, that battle of the wills, kind of showdown between Donnie and Dreg, because I got to give David Wise / Jeffrey Scott credit here. Like if it was a collab or whatever, I got to give him credit for the fact that they kind of didn't forget their rules toward the end, which I really liked.
Right.
And I really like the fact that most of the times when there's a big villain, it's going to be rope-a-dope fight time. And that there was none of that. That it was literally like Donnie and Dreg standing like 5 feet from each other, like literally like talking trash.
Yeah.
Like with Dreg saying like, I have the mind of a million people. You can't beat me. And Donnie's like, yeah, you're actually stupid. And like trying to like work with them. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. There seemed to be a lot at stake. They were both had control of that like crazy Star Wars like satellite laser network.
Right.
And I feel like there was like some high stakes on that. And I liked it. I liked the end of it. I liked the carry through. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I thought that the Globfather was actually a really good villain. Like very interesting, kind of different than some of the stuff we'd seen. Had a little bit more agency than your run of the mill. Because I could have seen like some character back the early days of the animated series where they would have been kind of just like very bumbling and not really effective, but seeing him command a lot of these dudes and get some stuff done, like basically he did everything he was supposed to do. At this point it's Dreg's fault. Like the Globfather secured the device, secured the person who knows how to use it, secured the building, and what do you say? We kind of skipped over this, but when he calls Dreg, he talks about like how he completed phase 1 or phase A, and Dreg good job.
He says like phase 1 complete.
Like great job. Like should I? And he's like, should I go on to phase 2? And they're like, yeah, do that.
I like that.
Thanks. And I thought that was kind of neat. Like, so because that's the thing that we don't really. We always see them kind of bumbling, or they find they fall into like having things work out. But here it's like, no, he set his mind to a goal and achieved it and worked hard, and it's a really good American tale. You know what I'm saying? He had an ultimatum, boy or the backpack. He went with backpack, which that's a hard choice to make, and
Sure.
But it's one we all grow from, and the Globfather totally did that. And the way that I might have glossed over it, but it does appear that Mung transported the mobsters and the car that now contains the remains,
the vacuum robot. You actually did skip over that. Yeah, that is kind of how it ends. Like they get teleported up. So like the vacuum comes up with, and obviously apparently the Globfather is like retrieved.
Right. So hopefully this isn't the end of him, because I mean I know we only have like 2 more episodes, but that's still like I wouldn't mind seeing him again. Like he's a pretty neat villain. Despite the fact that his toy wouldn't make any sense for Playmates to make, because both of his feet would be matching. So that doesn't really work. But
you would have to have the Globfather outfit on, like the old pinstripe suit with he's got one shoe on, and
that's how you do it.
His pants are ripped because he's in combat, and that's all gooey.
Right there, you go. That's how you do it. So well, that's the episode. So what did y'all think? Were you a fan of the Globfather? Would you join his gang? Have you been doused in protoplasm or whatever? We need to know.
Yeah.
We want to know. So email us, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can also go to the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com. It's got all our old episodes up there, and links to a bunch of other stuff that we do, and a lot of things up there to mess around with and find and enjoy for those who want to. You could also, let's see, what else do we have? Let me consult the list. We have the Facebook group. Tons of good people over there talking about turtle stuff. Lots of funny pictures and lots of news gets shared there, and so it's a really cool place to come hang out. So check out Facebook and look up Turtle Soup and find the group there. You can also find us on Instagram, Turtle Soup Show with the underscores between each word. And then, hopefully all of you listening have found out that we're on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, if you could like and subscribe, we sincerely appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. And that way you won't miss an episode and see when we're live. And we got a lot of stuff planned for this channel, and so you're definitely not going to want to miss out on any of that. So be sure to subscribe, and that helps to keep you in the loop
and do all that.
I thought you did the pause thing where you make me think that we lost connection and then I have a heart attack. I thought that's what that was happening.
The thing where I was like, I was doing the thing where like you had the bus going, you had the little train going. I was like, all right, he's doing the outro. And I was like, and this is where it stops. And I hop off and I say something I want to say. But then I think you had one more thing to say.
Yeah, I do have one more thing to say.
Up. But now the train hadn't stopped. My foot gets stuck. Now I'm just like rolling down the sidewalk next to the train. I'm like just going down the road. Like that's where I'm at. So
that's where you're at.
As I'm doing that, say the last thing you were gonna say.
I've been there. So we've all been there. So but the last thing I wanted to say is that if you want to keep us from falling off the train, and you feel like you want us to stay on the tracks and just keep going and be like Snowpiercer, you know what I'm saying? You
don't want to see a stranger on a train thing. You don't want the band train. Like
you definitely do not. No, none of that. But if you want to be the train that could, if you want to be the I think I can for
that little
engine that could,
that little engine.
You can do that by going to patreon.com and find Turtle Soup's Done By Making a Podcast. You can throw some pennies our way. You get some swag. You get some cool benefits and all kinds of other stuff. And it's really neat. And you'll be a part of an elite group of people that prevent the world's only podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all the way from the beginning from saying clang. And that is a huge accomplishment, something that you can go to bed at night knowing that you've done good in the world. If you wouldn't want those feelings and all that sounds good to you, patreon.com. That helps us out. Like, it does worlds for us.
If you join Patreon tonight, today, tomorrow, next couple of days, once you figure it out, if you join that, we'll give you your own ceremonial Foot Clan soldier color from the video games.
We'll give it to you?
You're the teal one.
You're the you're the teal one,
or you're the white one. Like you're the green one.
Right.
We'll give them to you. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll give you a color.
That's
we might
true.
say, hey, you have a big bomb that would just kill you if you dropped it on anybody. Well, you might be that guy. You might be Bone Arrow guy.
You might be.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Like, but yeah, join Patreon and we'll put that title right on you.
Exactly.
Maybe you'll be Sergeant O'Malley. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll be the next Sergeant O'Malley.
Goodness.
Who knows?
Who knows?
One last thing I wanted to say, it's a bit of a programming note before we end the show.
Okay.
I feel like we kind of screwed up because we didn't add it to our show notes, but I meant to do this last night, but I forgot to talk to Eric about it. Okay. But I know we're in agreement for what's going to happen. So regarding the next couple weeks of the show, we're entering the end of the animated series. Right, it's a pretty big deal. We've been kind of covering it since our 5th episode or so. Was it our 5th or 10th episode we did? It was very early. We started this damn thing. It's been a long time.
It has.
So we want to do something kind of special to commemorate the end of it, right? So what we're going to do is next week should be Thursday as normal, live on YouTube if you want to come do the thing. We love it when you're out here. That should be Thursday as normal. There's a slight chance that we might have some kind of personal matters get in the way. We might have to maybe go off to another day that week.
Right.
But for a fact, 2 weeks from now, Saturday, we're moving the show to Saturday night, guys. Episode 8, Divide and Conquer, is going to be a Saturday night show. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go all out. We're going to talk about this animated series. We're going to review that last episode. It's going to be prime time, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And normally Thursday night, that's when you get your prime. That's prime time. But we're moving it up. We're moving it up to Saturday night. We're doing the thing. So set your calendar that week. So in 2 weeks, we will not be live Thursday night. We will be running a Saturday night plan. So clear your calendar. I don't care if your friend's like, but we normally get chicken wings. Tell them chicken wings can shove it. And you can shove it too. Just for next week.
Or
just for 2 weeks from now.
Or you could get chicken wings and watch the show, like just on Saturday night. Just move your plans to Saturday night.
Yep.
You don't have to shove anyone.
That was the next thing I was going to say.
Okay, I might have cut you off. I shoved you, and I didn't mean to shove you.
Well, now you know what, Eric. Now we're both tumbling down the subway platform.
We're just going,
but we're holding hands.
Going.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we actually eventually form into the wheel. We're like, I've got your feet and you've got my feet, and we make a wheel and we're rolling down, rolling, kind of like how they used to do on Wild and Crazy Kids. That's basically like what we're doing.
God. I haven't thought about Wild and Crazy Kids in forever.
A kid came to my school. I was in 4th grade. Some kid came back from the summer, bro. Coming into 4th grade, had that Wild and Crazy Kid shirt on.
No.
And back then, the only way you could get that was if you were like on a filming of the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was one of those like Dayglow ones where like when it got wet, it was one of those. Like,
yeah.
where they did like the water challenges, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh man.
And
Goodness.
And it's all he would talk about.
Oh, of course.
Like he was in Orlando or something like that, and like he got into it and he got to do this thing and they went up on this like hill and he like rolled down there like water and stuff, and I was like, why do I want to be on Wild Crazy Kid so bad? But anyway, that's a big tangent.
Yes.
So like I said, drop what you're doing. Chicken wing plans. Yeah, have friends over to the house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do what you got to do, because that's going to be Saturday, the 9th of October. That's the day. That's the day it's going to be. So be there, be square. Same 8:00 start time that we normally do the regular show, but we're going to be blowing it out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Also, just to give you a little bit of head notice, don't forget to enter the Turtles Come Out and Fight That. You know what I'm saying? Email contest. You know what I mean? Don't forget to do that.
Yep.
Also, if you got any of your own personal reflections on season 10 or the whole series, email us those too, because we wanted some stuff to read on that final episode as well.
Yes, definitely.
So programming notes out of the way, but Saturday, October 9th is going to be where we review Divide and Conquer at 8:00.
Right. So
programming note.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that does it for us on the Prime side. So else time.